really did pretty well.
Yeah.
And we're welcome to session number 78 for our Wrath of the Immortals campaign with the characters currently about to go to war in the Sylvan Realm.
Ah! Whoa, dude. Why
So,
is it?
Although not solo.
Yeah.
Well, they could if they really wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it.
It would be bad.
Okay,
It
so
wouldn't last very long.
depends if it was all one combat.
Still wouldn't last very long.
It's entirely possible.
Okay, so you
It's going to be easy to just
last session you woke up the clan Ilsundal and managed to win them over so that they now consider Luell his own tribe.
Yeah.
And everyone else part of his tribe, because they won't admit the sort he belongs to actually exists as a tribe.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Shadow? Is it the Shadow?
Shadow Elves.
Shadow
Well,
Elves,
actually,
that's it.
these guys probably make the assumption that everybody who isn't them is not a real elf.
It's
yeah,
more
fair
so
enough.
that these were the elves who turned their back on them.
Yeah.
Actually, they turned their back on those elves. They sort of turned their back on each other.
Yes.
So the clan that your sword represents technological elves.
Yeah, and that just gets a bit fraught, considering what happens to technological societies on this world.
Yep. And so the first civilization of the elves was a techno nation.
Yeah.
They gave up magic in the pursuit of science. And so these elves here keep the story alive of how that's horrible and all those people should die.
Yeah, because, that's the appropriate response to anyone you disagree with. Just kill them, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem was the science people blew the world up nearly.
This is a problem.
Look,
the problem is the gods agree with this particular point of view.
I get that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like colonialization. Although
Of
you
course
have
it
to be
is.
responsible and fix what the people in your past did, you're not necessarily directly responsible for it.
No, it's not so much that. It's in this case, it's the gods going. You're technological. You are following the tracks of people who have done very, very bad things to our world.
That bit I get.
We're going to annul your existence.
And that's basically the belief they forced on people that
Yeah.
reliance on science is bad.
Yeah.
Anything that's not in
Yeah.
moderation is
Except,
bad.
Well,
that's
very true.
Except for coffee.
And
well, we do that.
to be perfectly frank, that's the main antagonism between
Yeah.
elves and dwarves.
Yeah. Dwarves like
Is-
technology.
Dwarves are steeped in science.
Yeah.
And elves are always worried that dwarves are now going to go off and do what the elves did.
Yeah. As against gnomes who are just mad tinkerers.
Yeah,
They're like elves without.
we've got a good excuse. We're mad.
Yes, you're like dwarves, but without the discipline.
We're less likely to.
The problem is, of course, is that when you start getting things like wizards, they actually think much the same way, except they're doing it with magic.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
Really,
And
Calrex?
anyone doing intellectually based spellcasting.
Hit coffee for tea. That's what's happening.
So that was basically where the
You can sit here
main
for hours.
founding of the Sylvan Realm came from.
Yeah.
Abandoning technology for nature.
Yeah.
And when they basically wake up and find highly advanced races that are helping them.
Yeah. They have a bit of a brain break.
Yes.
And go like, you guys are you're together.
Yeah.
I don't care what you look like. Well, actually, we're going to ignore what you look like.
Just going to ignore you altogether, to be
Because
honest.
human and gnome and you people are just weird. And
And so that they've all been lumped under Luell as his clan, which gave everyone else the umbrella of the well-talking elf won over the Council of Nobles?
By managing to get a set of rolls, none of which sucked, which is great.
That is good.
Yes.
Some days the dice aren't trying to kill you.
That's right. And some days,
They go to jail.
some days I'd be doing better with using a D10.
So I will get Paul to introduce his character.
Claw, the dark-haired pretty boy diplomat, part-time healer and warlock. And champion of the Shadow Elves, and apparently, according to these people, leader of a clan of nutcases. I mean us.
Hey, nice.
I think it'd have to be Nani to wake up the elves.
Even accidentally. Well, it's what yeah.
I heard Clarissa before, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Next up we have Ariadna.
I am Duke and Cover, the tinkering artificer gnome artillerist? Gnome?
Yes.
Artillerist.
Also known as the Mad Bomber.
Yes. You're the exploder.
Yeah. I explode things. I explode things good.
Yes.
And hopefully I will explode things a lot right now because we need it. I have all of my superstitious dragons going to give us luck. They're all here, everywhere. If you need more, there's like 50,000 more in the cupboard next to you. It's probably not going to work, but I figure, appease the dragon gods because we've got a dragon chieftain who's absent today, but still. That might help.
So also at the table we have Kesley.
I am playing Koopa Lani Aokai. She goes by Lani because that's easier to say. She is the Makai human fighter, tank of the group. Has titles, self-imposed titles of Lonnie the Undying, which is going to be really tested from what I'm gathering here. Bane of Fire Giants.
Pixie
and
Provisioner.
Provisional.
Princess Pixie Provisioner. Maybe?
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
Just to get that alliteration going.
And I think that's all the self-imposed titles that I have. So, from what I gathered, is we're really testing that Undying title. Coming up soon.
This game, yes. Definitely.
And online today we have Clarissa.
Yay!
Yay! I'm happy.
She's so happy.
We can definitely hear your week in there.
I didn't play Wizard Bladesinger. I also, she dedicated her life to protect the of life in her clan. And she always believed even without question before the many happenings of, his adventure.
Very nice.
And I believe last session someone was given a medallion from the tree.
Yes.
Was that you?
Pretty sure, yes.
It wasn't, Neri? Alright, I have to look over my notes again.
Yes.
I read them before earlier today.
Yeah,
I
so
can't remember them.
We did get apologies from Jeremy, who
Yep.
unfortunately is
Dracula?
busy tonight.
That's alright.
And you do have the return of Drizzle, who hasn't really spoken much yet.
Drizzle, my best friend.
And Horse! My other best friend.
Drizzle, the person who nicked a legendary item from somebody else, despite the fact that nobody else could actually touch it, took it to bits, used it as a power source and a shield, and then merged it with, well, in the past, merged it with the other item that I have. So now it's legendary twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's what made it legendary in the first
Legendary twice is,
Well, that's the thing. It's always been. It's no, my sword.
The sword.
It's always been legendary now. The staff no longer exists. In fact, the staff has stopped existing when this sword was made, despite the fact that I was carrying it last week.
Yeah. But the staff never existed.
Love time
now.
travel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we forgot the really important thing. We got $20,000 worth of gems each
Yes.
last game.
Each?
Yep.
We got paid.
So make sure you put that in your purse.
You're given shiny stones as thank you from the elves who didn't think they were worth much.
Yeah. Ah, yes.
Because
So
they have other things that are.
on the amulet thing, it just says Drazzle returns taller, older, darker than he was before, and he gives I'll say that right one day, an amulet that enables you to call forth 20 elven champions. We probably need those guys today.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wrote that down because I'm like, I don't see
Yes.
it, I don't see it, I don't see it. Oh,
No,
great.
it's there. Yes.
It's okay. I actually have been working on that today.
Yep. You've been doing a lot of work recently, which is impressive, considering your fatigue.
Well, some of these things require a bit of thought to actually make it work.
Yeah.
Such as breaking down how the armies work
Yeah.
in the setting, from what the setting considers an army.
Mm.
Because you don't really want to make mistakes with that.
There's more if you need more.
Yeah.
These ones I can't have as often, but
Oh shit, I
that's
bought you some
not
more
too
of those,
bad.
I think.
No, it's not bad. It means that I don't just snack through them. Whereas the ones that have no bite, I can just eat through the entire pack without noticing.
Adrian
Yeah.
gave you the gum though.
They're up there.
Yep. Cool.
And I just put it out of the way so I can get it when I want it. I sort of surround myself
They're
with
on
everything.
sale for ridiculously cheap, so I bought a bunch.
Cool.
That's good.
Which is good. Okay, so the Drazzle looks expectantly at Llewellyn.
I think you're expected to call the 20 champions forth.
Yes. Which is what the medallion is.
And Llewellyn gets to make a wisdom saving throw.
A saving throw.
Mm.
How excellent. Fortunately,
It's always a nice way to
Unfortunately, I
start the
don't
session.
think I can help you with your wisdom.
I
That's
have advantage on it, so it's fine.
Mad bombers don't tend to be wise.
Alright. 14 and 16. So 16 and... Oh, what's my friggin' bonus on it? I had that done. Yes. No, sorry, wisdom bit. I had that. 19.
Okay, so you hear Drazzle's voice in your head. But the words don't make sense.
Mm.
And then you get the meaning after the words. So your magic doesn't work on magic on words projected into your mind, but apparently he was translating it using your brain to translate it for you.
Sounds like me listening to Spanish.
If he's got the same mystic... If he's using something like the mystic report that I've got as an elf,
Kind of like
given
you
he's
with
a
German,
dragon, I
Russian,
wouldn't be
Polish,
surprised.
and
you
Spanish.
can always make yourself understood.
Can understand
And you
it.
find
Can't
that
speak it.
you've got a bunch of instructions that include destroying the amulet.
That's part of the call.
It's the equivalent of, say, like a Staff of Power's final strike.
Yeah. But it calls the 20 champions.
And then that's it.
Without them being able to say no.
At what?
Sorry, it summons, not calls.
The non-breaking is like a page.
request.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Hi,
breaking
do you
is
think you'd be here?
even if you're in the outhouse, you're here in a moment.
Yeah.
Everyone else surround them while you get
But
dressed.
God, that'd be funny seeing one with their like trousers around their ankles and hopefully a shirt long enough to cover up everything else, or a tunic.
Or
Sounds
actually
really
undressed
fun.
because he was in bed with his mistress.
Yeah.
No one asks any questions. Someone else does a summon. Create item and creates him some clothing.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yes. So destroying the amulet means they arrive.
So how long are they there for, though, once you summon them? Because...
Until they get to go home.
Okay.
They have to
sorry.
walk back.
Yeah.
Oh! So
It's not a temporary summon.
Right, okay.
I summon them to my presence,
Yep.
and they're here.
Until you dismiss
It's not
them?
like a summoned creature.
Yep.
There's no dismissal.
Oh,
I say, we're done, the war's over, you can go home now.
okay. Alright.
Here's a bus
So
ticket.
you get to determine that.
Yeah.
I
No,
hope we
don't
give
know.
them a bit better than a
I
bus
don't
ticket.
I don't even determine it. They're here, that's the end of it.
Oh, okay.
There's no end.
They don't get to go home even if they finish their job?
Well, they can
Well,
go.
no, they get to go home,
They get to walk.
but the spell doesn't do it.
Oh, okay.
The spell
Alright.
is one way.
Yeah, okay.
They're
Right.
here, that's it, it's done.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not like summoning elemental or things like that. It doesn't end.
But
I was just asking that question five
Yeah.
different ways because usually with Martin it ends up being, oh, they've disappeared now because you did the wrong thing.
Yes.
And I'm just
no,
like, let's just look at this from
It's-
every angle.
yeah, no, they're being straight out summoned to my presence, and I'm using the power of Ilsendal to do it. They can't say no if when I destroy the amulet. Yeah.
as it
and
was
yes,
the
I
original
use-
amulet, it's basically not something anyone can deny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's the power of a god.
So Drazzle's done a really good thing.
Thank you, Drazzle.
Does he still look a little bit tired?
He does.
I give him a bit of coffee.
You've done some
From
pretty amazing work,
Calcrix's
Mr.
stock.
Drazzle.
He just knows.
Do they have
course
the
you have.
equivalent of like a thermos?
The gnomes would have, yes.
Okay.
The elves
So,
would be
yeah.
horrified, but the gnomes do, yeah.
Well, I give Drazzle a
because
thermos
the
of
gnomes
extra
one,
strong
it's
Calcrix mix.
actively powered, and you've got to keep it powered. You've got to keep it fueled. Can you imagine a gnome-made vacuum-insulated mug that's got a little steam engine pump on the side of it?
That
It
is
stop-
awesome.
And it stops working if the engine runs out of fuel.
He's just going to keep popping up the fuel.
Sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Can you make that engine though run off the coffee that it's in?
No,
then,
because there's no energy in the coffee.
no, but you could design it magically so that.
Well, at that point, you just have magical heat.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless
But
you want to overcomplicate
what if-
it just for the fun of it.
What if I want to
Which is very
overcomplicate
gnomish.
it just for the fun of it?
Well,
Because
okay.
it would look cool.
If you have, well, that's where the gnomish side of it comes in. It's magical heat for the steam engine that requires coffee in the mug for it to actually work. So it won't work unless there's coffee in there.
And then you make it one of those
So if you want to make a
constantly
hot,
full ones.
if you want to make it a hot chocolate,
It
it's
doesn't work.
got to be a caffeinated.
I don't know that
it's got to
Drazzle
be a
needs hot chocolate
caffeinated
right now.
hot chocolate for the thing to insulate.
Yeah, that'll work.
That would be very gnomish.
I do it.
Right, so if someone asks for a nicely cooled, say, orange juice, they'll put coffee in it
I'm
gnomes.
pretty sure Drazzle
Yeah.
will just adapt it if it doesn't suit him.
No, he'd go, oh, I want it warm. Woof. Breathe in it.
Oh, no, I suspect he's got a little bit of gnomish
So
eccentricity
he's
to
also
him.
more of the cold breath dragon.
Yeah.
As he's the water type.
Okay, he's unlikely to go for coffee then. It's going to be chilled milk or chilled orange juice.
He's
or
had coffee with Calcrix
He likes a
before
nice
Yeah.
in other games.
No, he'd be polite and drink whatever.
Iced coffee.
Yeah,
Iced
maybe.
coffee. Yeah.
Um,
Over freeze it, make a really big icy pole.
Amulet. We should be
Yes.
moving on.
We do. So if I'll set things up for the ritual. Whatever needs to be drawn on the floor, wherever people need to stand, whatever funny hat I've got to wear.
Drazzle provides you a funny hat in preparation.
Drazzle.
Is it like
It's
a court
great,
jester
it's
one?
a great hat, but it's not actually the one required for the ritual.
It's basically just the I'm wearing this for no particular reason hat.
It's like my big floofy hat, only it's differently floofy.
Okay.
So
Alright.
think the Rocket asking for something he doesn't really need.
Yeah.
There's that sort of hat.
Yeah.
But I was looking at visually what it looked like.
Glaring colours.
Yes.
But court jester style?
Not even styled that well.
Okay.
Just glaring colours.
Yeah.
Alright.
Enough that it hurts the eyes to look at. It is not symmetrical. It is
Mm.
so asymmetrical. It's just like, did they change patterns mid-hat?
Did they change universes mid-hat?
Fashion's quite like that anyway.
I know they took something halfway through that hat.
Okay,
Because the second half, they were on a different plane of existence than the first one.
Now that we've done introductions, would you
Yes.
like me to quickly make your coffee?
That would be fantastic. And you see Drazzle start to put some runes into the grounds around you.
Cool.
Which he said would enhance the magic.
Very well.
I feel like this hat is increasing the magic as well. Just saying.
It does look like something a mad wizard would wear.
See, that's what I mean. I don't know no wizards or warlocks or anything that much, so I'm just like, yeah, that seems about right. You should probably wear that. Yes.
Yeah. A motley hat. Although, strictly they're more like that. It's a bit weird, but you, and sometimes more colours.
Yeah.
And you can get a bit dark with it, but
So Drazzle takes about an hour laying out symbols for you.
yep, it's going to take a while setting this thing up properly. But thinking more like this one.
That's exactly it.
That would probably...
Yeah, it's not required for the ritual. It's just Drazzle wants me to wear it.
Pretty sure it's required. Just saying.
Want a hot drink?
I've got one, thank you.
I'm alright, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so you've got the hat on, the symbols in play.
Yep.
You've got a whole bunch of elves looking on. Some of them shuddering every now and then as Drazzle looks their way. Because he only seems to talk into people's heads.
Yeah, and they're not taking to that at all well.
Most of them can't do that.
No. And aren't used to drag. These guys predate the creation of Dragonborn.
Yeah, they do.
They've never seen one.
They've never seen a Dragonborn. Wait, this version of Drazzle, does he... Well, previously he had wings, right? So he
He
still
has
has
had.
wings.
It depends
You're
on
not
how
sure
old.
he's got long black cloaks over everything.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it
okay.
depends how old he is when you see him.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to determine. So you
When
say
he's at
he's
his-
just older from the last time we saw
Yeah,
him.
when he's at his oldest and largest, he has wings.
Yeah.
And you've not seen him this old before.
Yeah.
This is probably the oldest you've seen him.
Yeah. Well, he may be old enough that he could just flat out conceal his wings. Yeah.
But yes.
So, ritual things. I will wear the hat throughout the ritual preparations. Because it's amusing. I will change out of the hat to do the ritual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will give you a history check for seeing how well you can follow the ritual.
Okay, now, because this is working on elves, I get the advantage of the court invocation and the aspect of the court's fate thing. Cool. History check, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. No bonuses I get from anything? I'm presuming not.
There are other things giving you bonuses,
But it's not anything I can do. Right. Okay. 13 goes to 20.
Okay, so you spend about an hour doing the ritual, getting it all ready to go, and as you're getting near the end of it, you realise that the Moonblade is now almost at full illumination during the day.
Oh,
it normally doesn't glow.
No, well, it's showing off. I mean,
And
it's showing itself.
it seems to be interacting with each of the runes that Drizzle's laid up. As you realise he's placed parts of the rest of the stuff in
Right.
each of those locations. So whatever you're about to do is going to be a big thing, not a small thing.
It also means that I'm going to explicitly make the sword part of what I'm doing.
It's the thing that breaks. It's the only thing you've got that will break the amulet.
Well, there's that too. But also things like when I need to do, say, draw shapes in the air or something like that, I'm going to use the sword to do it. I'm explicitly making the sword part of my preparations as well as the tool used to
Okay. So with the
do the ritual thing.
final strike, you hit the holy symbol with the sword,
Yep.
and you
Goes
hear a deafening boom.
I'm presuming that's expected.
And you weren't told what was going to happen?
Given what I'm doing, it's going to be an impressive sound.
Well,
Some
you
kind.
were basically breaking an artifact with an artifact.
Yeah. Although, fortunately, an artifact with a double artifact, I don't think that makes much difference.
And then you see around you rips in the air as portals open up.
As 20 people go, what the fuck is oh shit?
And you basically see hundreds of people start pouring through the portals, almost as if they're being thrown through.
Well, they have been, basically. Because I've been very rude and not given them a choice.
And as you watch, they continue to pour through.
How many?
Well, you're not sure exactly how to stop it.
Well, the ritual doesn't have a stop. It has call the champions. If there happens to be, say, 100 champions instead of 20, that's what I'm going to get.
Okay, and as you watch, you can start to see tabards of the soldiers of the various clans of Alfheim also coming through.
Okay.
So you think you might have, summoned the armies of the elves?
If I've just summoned the champions with a small c rather than champions with a big C, I've just summoned an army.
Yeah.
And
Which strictly is no bad thing
I
from
mean,
our point of view.
not terrible.
And
but
people are
that's-
starting to gather and move people out of the way of the inpouring of people.
While I stand in the middle of the ritual and be its centre and focus.
I guess I will start shouting at people and directing them away so that we're not piling on top of each other.
So there's lots of shouting, lots of screams
Just
of what the...
move.
And
We go to war!
and you're directing people off into various ways. You see that there were 20 portals opened.
So is this the
So-
equivalent
so,
of Red and pep
20
talk before
portals
they were running
open.
Immortals?
I'm going to have to do pep talky things just to stop them beating whoever's in front of them.
Yeah.
Or me.
You gotta work on
So
your,
it's
on
go-
your
it's gonna
best
be
Highlander
sort of-
speech now.
I've got to be the core of this ritual, but I've also got to basically persuade these people to be organised. Fortunately, they're an army, or armies, they're used to that.
Yeah.
But it means I've got to be an impromptu military commander that they don't know.
Yeah.
So, Paul, I'll give you an insight
So-
roll.
Okay. Whoops. 22.
Okay, you're starting to twig what's happening. Some of the people you recognize went missing.
Oh,
In history.
these are
Can
all
someone please explain it
Okay.
to me? What did he go missing? When?
okay. People who have disappeared as part of their historical stories, They've gone missing in history. Remember, this is a ritual that was imparted to me by Drazzle. These are people who say someone's doing adventuring 2,000 years ago and he disappears partway through what he's doing. I've just called him here, that's why he disappeared.
Oh, cool.
Which means going home is going to be a little difficult. Although Drazzle can help.
And it
So-
literally goes on for hours.
Yeah, well,
I
there's
think-
no real maximum to strictly to the number of. It's potentially. I could be calling more elves to this war than presently live,
Yeah.
Or have ever lived at one time.
or have
Yeah.
ever lived at one time.
Because you're calling all champions
All
throughout history.
champions, and it's a Drazzle ritual,
Yeah.
and it's god powered by a legendary artifact,
And one of them, a puzzle god dealing with portals.
and he's a portal god.
Okay. Nice.
And yeah. Okay, I'm going to stand here for hours talking to people and persuading them to basically work together and have my brain break the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, good
So
times.
this is this is heroing. How to hold it together while the universe is breaking your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
while you're watching, you're noticing that the portal's also bringing in Dragonborn.
Ooh.
That I'm not surprised at. Remember, actually, I don't know if Lani. No, it has been mentioned in Lani's presence. I think dragons and elves have common ancestors.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, to an extent, you could think of Dragonborn as variant elves,
Your cousins.
And you're seeing
distant
more
cousins, but cousins. Yes.
Dragonborn show up than you've ever seen at one time. Even when you stopped by the Dragon City.
Okay, I think what's happening now
It's a
is we've now
significant
got.
battle. You need a significant cup. And you also
Yes.
have butterscotch vanilla flavoured with vanilla and cinnamon topping.
Thank you. Yes,
I like it.
I like the mug.
It's
It's a
cool
brilliant mug.
I figure it's significant enough to use it, if not every day.
That's a pretty cool mug.
Yes, I was actually trying to find this particular friend's hat. However, this is an amusement in itself.
That's very funny.
The
Yes.
dreaded gazebo.
Yes, and he's got.
All sugar
Thank you very
free.
much.
You don't have to eat them all.
And he's got the two weapons used in by one of the Munchkin
sugar-free.
characters.
Except for the
because-
chocolate donut.
He's one of the guys who wrote Munchkin, and yeah.
So
Anyway, so
we're
different
seeing multiple Dragonborn, which to Lonnie
Lani has
see
only
very rarely a
You-
Dragonborn.
You haven't
I-
seen any beside Drazzle.
There we
yeah,
go. So this is very weird.
So how many Dragonborn are we talking?
I think there are more Dragonborn here right now than have existed to the present.
I heard that bit, so I'm
No,
just
no, no.
like,
As in, when we're not pulling them from history, we're pulling them from the future as well.
yeah, no, I get that. You're pulling them
Because-
from everywhere.
Every win, yes.
Yes,
So
every when and
we
everywhere.
may actually be getting every single Dragonborn that has and will exist possibly. My brain hurts.
Yeah.
However,
Try
I
to-
picked the right mug for the occasion.
I think
Yes.
so.
I very much
So
think you have.
yeah. So
So
all
when the
the
sun
elves.
sets, the portals close. Yep.
Can I interject before? Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, okay.
Myself over here. I was supposed to go feed my cat, but then I kept listening to you guys.
Right.
Oh.
Keep listening. Won't be able to answer for like 10 to 15 minutes.
You've got to feed the
but I like
cat.
that call. The word SON is brilliant. I really like it. First, can you please just repeat what you just said?
Oh, for the Dragonborn, as far as I can tell, there are now more Dragonborn here than have ever existed up to our present, which means we're pulling Dragonborn from the future.
Sounds like a Drazzle spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Very much so.
and we're pulling elves from all through time, as I mentioned before,
Yeah.
I think he's pulling a lot of things all through time, to be honest.
which also means we're going to be getting shadow elves.
Yeah.
And
You can see some of your
possibly-
family.
and potentially if the portal is not family with who I'm champion for. There's sort of, they are family.
But the Shadow Elves are not the children of Ilsandal, so
No, that's true.
they specifically are not the children of Ilsandal.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean they're not here?
No, because this is elf still powered.
Ah, I see.
He has no power over them.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. So I could request their presence, but I can't call them like this.
Yeah,
I
I'd put that
request their
phone.
presence because they
No,
don't-
I would have to do it myself, and I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, it also potentially means that we might get actual dragons if they can fit through the portals.
That would be cool-ish. Depends on the size of the dragon, I guess.
I would love to make friends,
Yeah.
especially since I'm studying dragonology.
Yeah. Yep. That'd be pretty awesome. I was looking for my other Calcrix, but she's over there.
He's been looking after that,
Ross
waiting
has
for the right
actually
time.
given me these two, which is really cool of him.
Okay, so at sunset, the portals close with a bang,
Yeah.
and you see at each portal's closing what appears to be a young dragon.
Okay. So you got a dragon.
20
Each
dragons.
portal.
Oh, 20 dragons.
Each portal.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of dragons.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a pretty good point. Means who will you be fighting?
Okay.
Why are we?
Yeah. So, I'm presuming multiple different colours of dragons.
They are. They range. They're all different colours.
20 different colours, which means we've got gem dragons.
Oh, wow.
And
That'd be super.
yeah.
So I'm stealing all of
And
your
also,
20s
I'm
just in
presuming,
case I
I'm
have
presuming a shadow dragon
a lot going to Dose Jam.
and various other weird ones that
So
most
just
people
going
have
into
never seen.
gemstone dragons, it puts it up into. I think it's 19 just with gemstone dragons.
Ouch.
'Cause
So-
there are 7 gemstone dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Base gemstone
Yeah.
dragons, not counting some of the extras.
Yeah.
So
So,
yes.
So this is pretty cool. Everyone and we've got just about every type of dragon. We've got Dragonborn. We've got a bunch of elves. We're doing pretty
hell of a
good.
lot of elves. Yeah, now we've got to point them all in the same direction, which
Yeah.
is what I've been doing continuously while we've...
And then
Duke is tempted to
then
go,
the funny
"Have
hat
fun,
you're
bye."
given by Drazzle starts to glow and light up as the sun sets,
Ooh.
drawing everyone's attention to you.
me and my cloak with the flowing wind, because at this point it's, hi, this person is now being introduced to you. This is your first impression, so I get the flowy cloaky thing.
Yep. So you look partially cool. No, you look
No,
ridiculous
I
but
look-
cool at the same time.
Well, I wasn't wearing the ridiculous hat for the actual...
It's actually
Yeah.
sitting here soon, so it's lit him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But didn't Drazzle put the ridiculous hat back on him?
No,
No.
it just lit up next to him.
Oh, okay.
So it lights
yep.
Luelle up saying, look here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Is
so
that
I'm
like
actually,
a spotlight?
At multicoloured light.
It's multicolored.
probably more like a
Each bit of
disco.
the colour is now glowing a lot.
Yep.
So now at my feet, I'm being lit up by party lights.
So you're a disco elf. Yeah.
But I'm also
You need to put on some
amazing
flares.
looking.
Yep. You're awesome.
My cloak has probably just given me flares.
Yep.
Um,
Strike a pose.
come on, this is the cloak that changed my height for one particular diplomatic meeting.
I want one of those.
This is a magic cloak that's on its way to being persuaded to be a legendary item.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's where
'Cause it-
items gain power with use.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially
if they're
significant use.
if they're part of if it's significant, it's got to be part of your actual story.
Yep.
So my armor isn't going to
But your cloak
necessarily,
will.
but the cloak will because it's something that everyone sees and I use.
Yep.
It happens all the time.
Fair enough.
So yes, at one point I was 3 feet tall.
Yep.
Still looking amazing.
Because it gave him the best advantage in the situation.
That's right.
Look, Therion's barely 1 foot tall and he looks amazing, so we're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
When he's up and around
pretty
and
impressive.
yelling at you.
Well, he's now curled up on the couch because I've set the blanket up
Yeah.
where I sit.
he's
You
doing
made him a nest.
proper cat things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, you
Uh,
are the centre of attention of what you
everybody.
think is close to 30,000 people.
Alright, come on, Highlander speech, let's go!
Go, go, go.
All right. Highlander speech.
And the fact that you put 30,000 odd people in centre of ruins is actually quite amusing.
No social distancing right now, right?
No social distancing whatsoever.
Well, there's so many spellcasters here with divine spells, it doesn't matter too much.
Duke is so tempted to drop a tiny fart bomb.
I could make that good.
I say it, so you shall smell it.
Yeah.
No, I'd bring in something about the stench of corruption is what we're actually trying to trying to defeat.
That'll inspire them.
And
Do it just
that's-
before we're about to charge. That'll move them faster
That's-
forward.
You're trying to herd champions with stink.
I'm joking.
It sounds perfectly reasonable. It's a gnomish thing to do. How to run an army. Force them to go forwards. By
Motivate them with horrible
by
smells.
farting in the general direction.
Silent but deadly.
Okay, so
Right,
inspiring speech to get them to work together against our bad guys, which are over there.
Is that Moorcroft and his
Yeah.
fellows? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, what was Warcraft's army?
There were two armies that you were told were happening. One was coming from the north and one was coming from the south. And you had not enough elves to help you beforehand.
Yeah, we were
But
worried
now-
about that.
I've
Are we-
seems to
we're
have
in the city,
basically.
We're in the ruins, yes.
You're in the centre of the elven forest where the ruins are.
Yes.
And they were gathering to the north of the forest and to the south of the forest, with about 20,000 to the north and about 20,000 to the south.
And they had like 100,000 or something like that in their army, and we were like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?"
And now
So
we
what we've
have-
done is
Yeah.
we've
We've known something.
Now we've got 30,000 champions and some dragons.
Mm.
So it looks like we might have possibly at least even it up a bit. So, inspiring speech time.
Mm-hmm.
Cloak doing its work. And advantage on. That's a 20.
wow.
So, standing up before
awesome.
all these people,
Yes.
you do get a bit of stage fright to begin with, but you've just brushed that off because, well, you're that good. And
I have a job to do. I can be stage fright later.
Mhm.
Yes.
And you realise that halfway through the speech, you're sort of like towering over a part of the audience at the same time, as you're
Am I now
grown
12
larger
am I now-
than life.
12 feet tall.
About that, yeah.
Yeah.
As you're doing your big speech.
All I can think is Bastard Boys now.
Duke's trying not to feel insignificant, but he kind of does.
Well, I started 7 feet tall. So I started twice your height.
But now when he looks up, mostly all he can see might be your nose.
If that's all you're thinking about watching me being this impressive.
No, that's not all I'm thinking about.
Oh, good.
Maybe he's thinking the nose is now big enough he can fit one of his bombs in there.
It's Duke and cover. He's like that.
Just from the gnome's perspective, that's all I was thinking.
I have
When
multicolored-
you sneeze, it does its job.
I have an amazing floofy hat. I have hair that wafts in the wind along with my cloak. I look amazing. I'm
And you
doing
now
amazing.
sneeze bombs.
And you're going, I can fit a bomb up that.
Mini bomb.
Alright, so yes.
And so yes, you're doing this big spiel about that they're here to save the tree.
Yes.
That if it dies, they die.
That's part
And
of
the
it. Sort
people
of,
die.
hi, here's some. I'm actually going to include those people who are from history, and I'm going to say you are from all of our history up to present, some from in the future. If we fail, all of us, everything you have ever done becomes nothing. We must win.
Good thing you got
My-
that 20, otherwise they might turn tail and just run.
Well, no, these are champions.
Yeah.
Champions go forwards. Not.
I'm
They're PCs. They're heroes. Well, PC types. Yeah, total result is with the bonus is 28. Quite apart from any other bonuses you have
So
to
yes.
throw my direction.
You are doing the impress everyone with the godlike presence.
That is rather the point. Yes.
Every time you're down, you can make it right, and that makes you larger than life. I'm just helping
which
with some
point-
Backstreet Boys quotes
and-
here.
Every
Yeah.
time you say that, I get a foot taller.
Man, you're gonna be like up near the sky soon. You'll be able to talk to that ant face to face at one
Yeah.
point.
I always said his
Um,
head was in the clouds.
Just to clarify, so we've got
Shkonk.
was it 20,000 elves?
30.
30.
Well, there's about 30,000 people here.
Okay, just
On our
the
side.
30,000 elves
Many.
plus the 20,000 20 young dragons.
Yes.
And we're facing more cross force of.
About 40,000.
Okay, right.
So you're now in a comparable size.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the dragons
Where
add
we
10,000,
are-
right?
We are.
They're not a comparable force because
Mm.
you're not necessarily an army yet.
Yes.
No, that's what I'm trying to do.
Mm.
You're trying to create.
This speech
Mm.
is to make us a force, not a collection of 20 forces, or actually about 50 forces.
Mm.
Because some of them are going to be individuals coming through as a champion, rather than an army. coming through.
You can interject.
Before continue.
Yep.
Is there something I can do to show support to Cole? Like Cole showing sort of weapons, display any sort of like, energy or anything
Yeah.
that could help
Somebody
you
give
know a little bit more.
somebody give skill aid.
You get to be the hype man. You know how every
The hype person.
yeah, every
The
rapper has his
warmer-upper.
has his hype man. That's like, yeah, that's you.
I just
Yeah.
figured that maybe having like relic things, at least for my clan, the elves like traditional people, some of the things that are tribal, we still recognize, even if they don't know what my symbols mean, some of them will. They recognize some sort of like that, I'm sort of a warrior like quite a few of them are.
Okay. I will give you a perception roll for your character to see what you notice while you're trying to think of what the
Maybe
hell.
do it for me, Harvey,
Cool.
please.
Someone roll
I
for
got it.
person.
I was gonna say you might be better than me.
I rolled 18 on the die, so
Nice.
Nice.
So that will be a very good roll.
I have some full seats, I think, or not four.
So
Okay, so looking around, you do notice that there are a bunch of people from your clan, including some of the former champions of your clan that disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so now you know where they went to.
I guess we all removed for the same reason.
And you even see yourself in the crowd.
Yes.
What?
Wow.
She sees herself.
What?
Get yourself
That is
drunk
crazy.
later, it'll be
So
funny.
this was before you actually joined Drazzle.
You've been
Oh.
you've been pulled through time.
So this is what made you disappear in the first place.
Yes.
Don't look at yourself, you'll go nuts.
You're a little confused.
Both
You
of you.
you didn't remember this event until it happened.
Right.
Well, I think we need that we still, either my memory was right, or, we changed the past and the
but
future.
if you pair up, you're going to work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
I'm just affected because there's too much at stake.
yeah. No,
But I want to stand, I'll be behind, and use my summer
yes.
aspect.
Well, there's always the tale of the time traveler who interacted with themselves and wrote themselves out of existence.
That's probably not a good idea.
Yes.
No, don't do that. Maybe don't get yourself drunk later.
There are not many people who have successfully interacted with past or future selves.
I do not want to interact with myself. I
There
don't
you
want to talk to myself. That is just weird. And I don't want to influence, things that I'll do later by seeing myself. But I need to be displayed for everyone and show support.
Yep.
I'm not going to address myself specifically, but I want at least the people from my clan and others to recognize that I was someone who was being chosen by one of the three alive, and I've been working with them.
Okay.
And you recognize that every person here was chosen by the Tree of Life.
What? Really?
Yep.
Not all of them were the champions, but they were all chosen.
Why they're here.
How do I know that? Do I recognize or feel an affinity?
Everyone you can see within close enough to identify has the symbol of either the guardian of the grove, the champion itself, the tree keeper, the assistants of the tree keeper. Everyone associated with all the elves here are associated with the preservations of the trees.
Yep.
That is interesting.
That being the core of what we're doing.
And
right
one
now.
of the first oaths you have to take is to come when summoned.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's pretty
can I
awesome.
talk about that?
including people who are already here apparently.
Well, Luell is busy doing his grand speech.
Yes.
No,
And being-
but
and being
I thought that was
absolutely
not speech
amazing at
behind him
Yep.
Yes.
before he started his speech to show support. So if I notice that,
Yeah.
can I approach and whisper that to him before he starts his speech?
You can have given him that information to make it
More
easier.
personable.
As he can work in as champions of the tree you're being called.
Yep. So I'll get a bonus from that. Plus, which means my total bonus becomes bloody hell. Oh, sorry, my total result becomes bloody hell. What's it? The table caps out at like 35 or something, doesn't it? For skill results.
It keeps going because there are some DCs that are 40 plus,
Oh, true.
but that's because they're god DCs, not.
Yeah. But that's the thing. My end roll is approaching that, and that's just
So yes,
redonkulously impressive.
you have impressed more champions than you could ever imagine.
I've impressed more champions than there are elves in some whole countries.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And
As you see them all draw their swords and salute.
Oh. Woohoo!
Including the fact that the Dragonborns all also draw their swords, and they all have the symbol of the tree on them.
So did we say how many Dragonborn were here? I'm just
You're
note
not,
taking.
you haven't counted them yet,
Okay.
so no, you don't know how many.
I just wanted to include it in my notes.
yeah,
just in
hundreds
case.
minimum. Yeah,
So-
more than we've ever seen anywhere, including when we visited a dragon's nest.
So after your big speech, they start to break up, rather organised, considering they are elves after all.
And there are war leaders in this, and that's the whole thing, was sort of get it coalesced. There are war leaders. If you're not with a war group, join one. If you're leading a war group, hook up with the other people leading them and make an army. Because actually running a battle isn't my job. Of the champions who turn up as heads of forces, do I know of any of them? Or do I know any of them? Remember that I've got contacts at the sort of level of society these people are at. So I should be able to recognise at least some of the heraldry.
Most of these ones didn't make a name for themselves before they disappeared, so they were
This is where they make their name.
not
maybe.
significant in history
Right.
when
Yet.
they disappeared.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, all of you who are captains to generals, get together and work it out. You're an army now.
You think the spell didn't work on anyone who was significant to history?
Because they need to be able to afford to be lost.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to be able to afford to not go home.
Don't tell them that part though. Just tell them this is their chance to become significant in history.
Well,
Just forget the other bit.
yeah. Well, that is the thing. This is the historical event of
Yep.
the elven people.
Yep. And say the
it will-
Dragonborn as well.
Yes, it will overshadow the loss of the Shadow Elves in some respects.
Pun totally not intended, but appropriate.
No. Pun
Yeah.
entirely intended. I don't-
Always intend your
I
puns.
Yes.
never ever unintend a pun. Ever.
That's it. That's the rule. If you're going to make a pun, you intend to do it.
Oh yeah. No, if you got a pun, lean into it.
So yes, after a while, you have a bunch of people coming towards the well, looking very mysterious and leaderish.
I know
I salute them.
Drachnima's not here, but I presume him being a dragon chieftain now that he's recognised, he's wearing his headdress and he's probably getting his fair amount of attention. Are there any of
He
his
was
people
going
there?
to do scouting last we heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's scouting. He doesn't get to see any of this.
He misses
He's-
it completely.
Aw.
He's aiding us
Okay.
by making sure there aren't any interruptions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
So,
he's going to be
which is
okay with
fine.
that. He's very practical, but you know.
Well,
Just-
it means he can be a PC and still.
Well, there was close to
Don't have to,
1,000 elves in the army that came with the city that you
Yeah.
were working,
Yeah.
which was not that much when you were dealing
No.
with about 40,000
Yeah, I think it was
troops.
a ridiculous comparison. I just thought if we establish where he is as a non-playing today.
He was organising scouting to make sure you weren't interrupted while you were at least making the tree safe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because now that you're out, the crystal protecting the tree has gone.
Yes.
So it's now got stairs down that anyone can walk down.
Okay.
Yes. Which is great for us, not so good for anyone else. Anyone else using it. All right. So they approach. I wait for them to approach and address.
Okay,
I greet them as obvious leaders of their forces.
So they are representing the different clans. So we may have just lost Clarissa. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So the
I'm back.
you're back. That's good.
Cool.
Oh, good.
So you've got Clan Alhambra from the Lantry.
Mm-hmm.
Alhambra, was it?
Alhambra.
Okay.
So these were the half-height elves.
Yes. Yes, because there were two families in Glantry, and the reason I ended up at a different height was I did a diplomacy on two elven families.
Mm-hmm. The
And
short one.
And one of them are elves that are this tall.
Yeah, that'd suit.
What
suit,
in the Keebler
Duke.
is going on?
And they have a
It's a good thing I
height
have American
superiority
friends. I
complex
think
about
that-
people taller than them.
Well then we'll get along great then.
And everyone here except her and them is 7 feet tall.
I'm okay with being short.
And even though I've done my speech, I'm probably still 10 feet tall and reducing.
Then you have a champion from Clan Bishtar from Wendell.
Ishtar?
Yeah. Which is the northern Alwyn Kingdom, the fourth kingdom that you heard was falling
Yep.
to undead invasion.
I was gonna say, aren't they missing a shiny rock? And
Yep.
yeah.
Well, if there's, we might be able to do something about that. Actually, we should be end up doing something about that.
Then you're met with the champion from Clan Kalari from Karamikos,
Cool.
which it is surprising because you didn't think that they had, in your diplomatic staff, didn't have them as that level of connection to anything.
But they still have connection to the tree, and they have champions, and that's all they need for this.
And from the ones that you're closest to, Clan Chosum, Clan Champion shows up. Because they are,
Chosen.
because they are the ones that say we won't trade with everyone. Through trade we will prosper.
Yep.
basically sharing of ideas is better than stagnation.
Mm.
Then you get Clan Dana.
Dana.
Okay.
And you find out that their clan was wiped out by Moorcroft.
Ah, so they got
So-
vested interest here.
So revenge potentially.
They basically fought the final battle as the kingdom fell as a clan. So Clan Arundel could escape.
Makes sense.
Right.
They basically sacrificed themselves to, and so
So
basically
Arundel.
that's the clan that you've been helping.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Arundel?
Arundel.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Which means, yeah, there's going to be some pretty big memorials and recognition for this, and particularly them, because yeah,
And then you get
particularly if any of them survive.
as a shock to you, winged elves.
Wow.
They reportedly did not exist.
Yeah.
And so their clan Aenar.
Yeah, everyone gets full welcome, and yeah, interesting stuff. Wings. Cool.
Then Clan Arundel, the ruling family that you've dealt with,
Yep.
also here. They're the rulers of Elfheim. Presently, though, who knows when they came from. Then from Clan
Goodness.
Irwin, from Galantry, the other Elven clan.
Tall ones, right?
They're
they were
the
Taurians.
normal height ones that I was dealing with at the same time I was dealing with the short ones.
Gotcha.
They were from Gladry?
And I had to be nice to
They were
both of
from
them,
Galantry, yes.
considering that both of them are basically Spanish noble family style and are enemies of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be
Very,
nice.
very much Romeo and Juliet style of
Yeah.
hating each other but liking each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Then you had Clan Theodil, which you heard was the final clan to leave before Moorcroft arrived.
Okay.
And then Clan Grunelf, also from Elfheim. And
Okay.
then more heroes from Clan Ilsendal.
Wow.
More heroes kept
Yeah.
showing up. Nice.
Heroes from their own past.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it is.
And then elves from the Clan Longrunners. They also from Elfheim. Best known for their ranges and probably the scariest elves to go into hand-to-hand combat with.
Okay.
What were they
as
called again?
Longrunners.
Long runners.
Reputation of the leader of that clan could take down any beast with his hands,
Sounds like my kind of people.
including dinosaur-sized, T-Rex-sized beasts.
So they're the Mandalorians
Okay.
of the Offworld.
Yes.
Yeah.
They sound cool. Okay.
Yes.
And his name was Beast Hunter because he single-handedly hunted beasts.
That's crazy.
And I'm actually writing this in my notes.
And he's the current leader of the Long Runners, but he's not here at the moment. And his wife is Cool Hands, who basically changed her name when she joined his clan,
Okay.
which is not normally how it happens. Normally you join the female's clan, not the...
Males.
But she liked his clan more than hers.
That's fair.
Right.
I think that's how we worked out our last name too.
Yeah.
But it was more based on I couldn't be stuffed spelling my name anymore.
Yeah. that's
And
fair.
then you get from Clan Meadil,
Meadil?
also from Elfheim, named after the founder of Elfheim,
Okay.
Okay.
because that king became one of the elven gods.
Oh.
Okay, so Meadil is
Meadil is the patron of Elfheim,
Gotcha.
whereas Ilsendal is the patron
Patron
of
of
elves.
As
But
a whole.
Elves from the Sylvan Realm onwards.
Yes. So, yes, he's the patron of elves who aren't shadow elves.
Yep.
It's weird to have to make the distinction, but it is an important
way it
distinction.
shows. Yes.
Then you've got elves from clan Minotaur from the Minrathad guilds.
Okay.
So where are they
Um,
from again?
Minrathad, one of the competitive partners to Irendi and the Mackay people.
Can you say that city name
Minrathad.
again?
Minro thread. Or Minro thread.
So
Minrothad.
Yep, got it.
Minrothad, sorry.
these would
Yep.
be
No-
the
no second.
elves I would be most.
The elves, the halflings, and the humans all work together to build a shipping conglomerate of guilds.
So this is the elves I'm used to working with.
East
The
India.
elves that you
Even though I don't
compete
know,
against.
I potentially maybe don't know these guys, but I would know
Yeah,
like
East
these
India
type of elves.
Company,
These
but-
are the ones I'm used to.
A bit more
You
reputable.
you recognize them because they're the guys who can out-bargain you on the ocean.
Yeah.
You can out-boat them, but they can out-bargain you.
Yeah. No, that's entirely fair.
Then you have Clan Red Arrow, the war clan of Melendil.
God, how many clans are there? Not that
20.
I'm complaining, but there's
20 clans.
Oh, okay.
20 clans that aren't Shadow Elves.
Okay. How many have we gone through so far?
That was number 15.
Oh, we got most. There we go.
I just want to figure out how long until my hands get a rest.
Learn how to write left-handed.
That's okay.
I tried, but because I was previously ambidextrous, it's just shifted all to the right.
The pain
It's
has,
about the newer pathways.
has shut down the ability to write with the other hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next clan up is Clan Shire. And you recognize that they're from Alfheim. Not from Alfheim, Alphatia. The island, the Empire of Alphatia. And they came, which was something you didn't know.
That's pretty awesome.
I've learned some very
How
good
is that,
things.
by the way?
It is very
Did it
nice.
work? Because I doubled everything, basically. So.
It is very nice. And then you have Clan Triar from Wendar, another one of the falling clans.
Yep. I am learning a lot. Even though I already had lots of history.
3 more to go.
Clan Vahadar from Wendar. The last of the Wendarian clans. And Clan Verdia, also from Minrathad.
Okay.
So there were 2 Minrathad clans. One of them predominantly sea elves.
Yep.
And that is elves that can exist both below and above the water equally. And the last
I
one...
can't remember at this point which clan was mine.
That I can't tell you after having just gone through the list of them. It'll be on your sheet, hopefully. Clan
I'll have to go back.
And the last one is Clan Vialia, which is based out of Thyatus. And they're the clans that people say are the scariest elven clan out there.
Scariest in general rather than just scariest in combat.
Probably no one has ever gone to war with them because just scouts disappear. No forces ever invaded them.
Nice.
People don't like going in their territory,
Yeah, because they don't come out.
even by accident.
So, was it the Grun Elf one that was the Beast Hunter one?
It was the long runner.
Oh, there it is, yep.
Yeah.
And then you're greeted by 7 Dragonborn.
Each one a different colour, I presume.
Each one is basically they're sort of more of a grey.
Okay.
You think that leadership position sort of changes them,
Yep.
and each
Did
of
you say
them
liege?
leadership position.
Oh, right, yep.
And
They
so
lose-
they
they lose
identify
their-
themselves as Fists of Thyatus, of Minrathad, of Karamikos. These are, it sounds
They're
like
the fists of everybody.
They're armies of different countries and these armies don't exist.
Or they don't exist yet. Yeah.
And that's probably more troubling than anything.
And not entirely unexpected, given this is a Drazzle ritual.
It's also quite possible that these armies already exist.
And just nobody knows about them, which is also distinctly possible and just as worrying in a different way. I get the impression, at least from looking at them, that they have given up their colour to do what they're doing, so they don't have their dragon type association anymore.
They don't show any form of affiliation with any colours.
Yeah, exactly.
And they remind you of hobgoblins in how martial they are.
Yeah, well, that sounds like Dragonborn. Yeah.
As in, when they came
Which is-
through, they pretty much aligned themselves and sorted themselves out.
They marched.
Yeah.
They marched and they got in lines and they formed up. And well, actually, it strikes me as entirely correct for Dragonborn to do. We just haven't seen Dragonborn in groups, so we haven't seen them do it.
It's fitting.
But yeah. Well, to an extent, they were created for combat. So, and for being a member of an army rather than a warrior, so they'll be organised.
Did you just say, fuck me?
Yep.
Okay, alright. Just clarifying for the video.
Oh my god, I'm so
No,
sorry.
no. I pain Tourette's out F words all the time. Don't feel bad.
I just accidentally threw something in my garbage.
Oh.
That wasn't a garbage item.
Poor cat.
So yeah, so you now find that you have at your disposal
Lots.
20 clans of elves, each with 4 battalions worth of troops. So each clan has about 1,000 troops.
Did you say 4 battalions?
Yeah.
Yep.
With the
So-
existing elves giving you an extra 4 battalions.
Okay. So the
So
leaders.
24,000 or 21,000?
That's 21,000.
21,000.
So the leaders, both of the elves and the dragonborn, and the dragon who's interested in listening in.
There's about 9,000 odd dragonborn.
Wow. Yeah.
9,000.
You think that unlike the elves, they've got about 5 battalions for each of their groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Appropriately scary stuff. Yeah, so I'll give them a briefing on what's going on. Okay, what's going on I described as part of the speech, because I've got to tell them what's going on. But the military situation, I'll tell them the environment they're in, the scouting reports that we've been getting, particularly from Draknavir, because he's our head scout at the moment. And he will give another briefing as soon as he gets back in. What we've seen, what we know about Moorcroft, I'm presuming some of them will know bits about him as well, because he's presumably been around for a while.
He has been around for close to 1,000 years.
Okay, so there are going to be people here who know more about him than me by quite some way.
Historically, it's the same as saying, have you heard of Genghis Khan?
Fair enough.
It's that level of horror.
Yes, and some of the people here will know his real name.
So with that, you also find out that you've got 1,000 centaurs at your disposal, so a full division of centaurs.
Sorry, 1,000 who?
Centaurs.
Centaurs. Oh, wow.
250 griffins, roughly a battalion.
Because we've still got our friends from the Feylands.
Just going to write that down.
So
An insanity of
So
pixies.
1,000
1,000 centaurs,
Centaurs, and did you say
250 griffins, which is a battalion, and the same in pixies.
You're going to have to provision more pixies, Miss Provisioner.
And there's a squad of rocks, so about 15 rocks.
Oh.
Though
Is our elderly
it is
hearing
one of them,
impaired?
yes.
I will say hi whenever it's appropriate.
Yep. Yes.
And so at a scale side of things, you have got reports back saying that there are technically 4 separate groups to the north and 4 separate groups to the south, each with their own banners.
Yep.
Each group roughly consists of about 6,500 troops. Where you're looking at orcs, hobgoblins, wereforms, giant kin, and wyverns forming each group. Running under to the north, they're running under the banners of Sandiotel, Alfax, Hal, and Orcus.
Can you say, sorry, the 4 names you just said just again?
At Sandiotel.
Santiotel.
Yep. Alfax.
Alfax.
The destroyer of the Alphasian realm that they came from.
Mm-hmm.
He was their last king.
So Jeremy wants to go there and take on those guys.
Hal.
Sorry, Hel?
H-E-L.
Yep. Yep.
And Orcus.
Okay, and they're the ones in the north.
Whereas the ones in the south are Demogorgon.
Yep.
The Natos. Talitha.
Yep.
And Renivorous.
Might need help spelling that one.
R-A-N-I-V-R-O-U-S, maybe?
Okay, yeah, no, that works. That's
That's
close enough.
As the banners of the gods have been used as war banners.
Yeah. What's that?
Which,
So is that where we look it up on your blog? I'm not cross-referencing here. And figure out which patron symbols belong to which person?
not all those symbols are up there yet, but they're getting there.
Okay, so keep your view out. Look at
They
the
can be looked
darkelf.com. I'm not advertising for you whatsoever.
No, just touting for it.
Oh, look, he advertises my books up there.
Oh, of course.
The woman who I picked up the thing from, she saw all the rings. She's like, where are they from? And then she asked me a whole bunch of questions about my books. So that was a really nice interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you're looking at about 2 divisions of orcs, 2 divisions of hobgoblins. So that's 2,000 troops to each, because there's about 1,000 per division.
Mm-hmm.
About a division of wereforms, mixed.
Wereforms, yep.
So you're talking about werewolves,
tigers,
wererats,
wolves,
wolves,
everything.
tigers, a company of giants, and a battalion of wyverns. So the company's about 60 troops, whereas the battalion's about 250. So each group is significant.
So I got the orcs, the hobgoblins, the giants, and then there was wyverns.
Wyverns, yes.
And there was how many of those again?
About 250. So that's about a battalion of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're looking at large scale numbers here. Of people.
It was 60 giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Do I have time to go get my other glasses before we list any more things?
You do, and I might go to the bathroom while you do that. I'll sneak through this way this time. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Give you a chance to figure out what you want to do.
Make a history check to work out what best to do. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, the force is there. We at least have the buildings that we can fortify, have the archers on top, and go that way. We're at least from a defensible position.
Ideally, what we want to do.
You want them to bottleneck.
No, actually, ideally, what we want to do is either distract or hold them in positions where they're still individual.
Yeah.
So they're not one force.
Yeah.
and then have one overwhelming force just hammer one at a time.
Yeah.
But the forces to hold them back have to be big enough to do so without being lost.
Exactly.
So each defending or holding force has to be significant, but we still need enough left over to be a hammer. This is where the accumulated experience of the war leaders is going to come into it.
Yeah, come in handy.
And I think that's going to be, I make a history check.
Yeah.
Which for a warlock uses charisma, so I get advantage on it. At least for part of it. And they get to add their bonuses on from their knowledge and experience. His name first. Yeah.
So yes,
So, yeah,
lots of thinking.
Well,
That's what we're.
well, discussing things with the war leaders, because they're the ones who, with actual experience in leading forces and fighting large numbers of horrible things. But what I was thinking about, and what I was talking about while you're away, is rather than say bottle them up so we've got them contained, that means that all the ones that are bottled are now a single force. We don't want to do that. So either deception or attempting to hold them in place, either way around, to keep them separate, with enough force to do so without losing the forces doing it, and then have another force be a hammer and just smack one at a time. So remove an entire force in one go, or at least reduce it to the point of unusability. That's my thought on it. But it comes down to Thor knows more about this than I do, and these war leaders know more about it than he does.
And you do know that whatever their objectives, if they get to the tree and kill it, it doesn't matter what you do.
Oh yeah.
And
this is a must win. We all know this. This is the whole thrust of the speech.
Sending most of the forces to deal with one of the two would mean that the other one might break through.
Well, that's the whole point with having the either deception or holding forces. Enough to hold them in place, not enough to win, with one force joining each of them in turn to smack down an entire attacking unit.
Also helps that
attacking
you
force.
you can have literally what did I say with the griffins?
Yeah, the thing is we do need a defense force in the centre.
We have
250 griffins.
250 griffins.
So yeah, you can pretty much have 5 flying battalions.
Yep.
Because you have 4 battalions of winged elves.
Yeah, that's true.
And you also have, when you look at the Dragonborn, at least half of them have wings.
Ooh, oh, that makes a big difference too. Yeah, so me and the war leaders are going to take this stuff into account. We're going to list the stuff we've got. We're going to write this down. We've got a whiteboard, or a blackboard, a wall and some chalk. I've got chalk. We can do the war plans with drawings because I've got chalk. Well, actually, I got prestidigitation. I can colour the walls. Anyway, we can do the war leader thing and actually work out what we're going to be doing in the forces. But we do need a defensive force in the centre because, all they need is one person who knows what to do to get to the tree.
Yeah.
This is the problem. We must win 100% or we lose.
Yep.
So we do need a force in the centre to basically protect the door to the tree.
And each of the
it's
standards of the gods have particularly been trying to take the elves down.
Yeah.
As one of the things they're each being known for.
Yes. Which is one of the things we'll take into account. We're going to use... Well, we've got multiple forces. We'll use really visible elves as bait for some things. And so if we go, oh, here's some elves that looks like a small force, bait, say, the orcs out, and they walk into a force of pixies.
Yes.
I think you're too small
Having
to
an
join a
illusionary
battle.
group
And-
of pixies would
And
be
and,
helpful.
and
You
then
wanna ride a
and then
griffin?
5 times as many elves as well.
Yeah,
as
He
well
wants
as
to ride a
visible.
griffin. That was a big meow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants his own
Yeah,
wings.
I think he wants to be a griffin.
He
You
wants
want
it-
to be a griffin?
He wants his own wings.
What about a flying cat? Yeah? Yeah, you like flying cat better.
You like the idea of that?
Yeah, he gave you a happy meow.
Yeah, he doesn't need to look after a mount if he's got his own wings.
If that's true. And then he doesn't have to... Well, no, he likes bossing people around, so he
Well-
might go for riding something.
Well, there is the thing of if he had a mount, you'd be looking after it.
Well, we got a pet behaviourist coming tomorrow to help with his anxiety and stuff. And part of that was explaining that they ask about his general sort of personality, and you're like, he likes telling us off if we don't tell him where we're going, and if we're
Yeah.
gone too long.
Yeah,
So,
it's a ragdoll. They communicate, and they want you to communicate.
And you also had one of the dragons come up to talk to you, a white dragon that calls themselves Calgrix.
As in my Calcrix.
Yep.
Does she smell of coffee? Yeah, figured. Does she have a plant guy yet? So she's from before or after going back into the dark?
After.
After? Oh, okay.
So you've got a plant. Plant thing?
Okay, so I've got a carnivorous plant that curls itself around one of my horns and eats bugs and things like that when I'm flying because, you know, it's a good source of bugs. They come to it.
Okay.
And Grindelwaffel's not with me, I'm guessing. No, I wouldn't bring... Grindelwaffel's my coffee gnome. He helps me source beans and he runs my cafe at the Knights Rivet Inn.
That's as bad as my game where my wife's 4-foot dragon runs a tea house.
Yeah.
And they also do coffee.
Yeah.
And he's making so much male character. He's making so much money at it that he's being made a master merchant
Nice.
without him asking.
Well,
That's
the
funny.
dragon stopped an avatar mid-combat by saying, "Would you like some coffee?"
Hey, it's worked.
And the avatar went, "What? You don't want to beat me up?
No,
Okay, let's have coffee."
This is coffee. Let's try this out.
Coffee's more important.
And I have a thing of leaving
Yeah.
new people I meet with like my special brand of coffee now. So as far as I know,
Yeah.
that avatar now drinks Calcrix's personal brand of roasted
Kirill
coffee.
does that.
I like that.
Everywhere we go, Kirill makes deals about tea.
Yep.
And to an extent coffee. He's also got a exclusive contract with the Dragon of Tredroy, which
Oh,
is the city
nice.
they're in.
I don't have an
Nice.
exclusive contract yet.
To
I should
supply-
think about that.
You should.
The gnomes are
about-
very good at doing those things,
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
that they're generally the sign you up with a free offer of stuff to begin with as long as you sign for it,
Yeah.
and then find out you've indebted yourself for the next 10 years to payments.
Yeah.
With you getting on
I
time.
think
He-
Grindelwaffe wouldn't quite
he-
be that bad.
Kirill doesn't do that because he doesn't need to. But think about the concept of how much tea a 40-foot dragon drinks.
Oh yeah,
Quite a bit.
yeah. Think about how much
Uh,
tea a coffee a dragon drinks.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the avatar was like
here's
a
the thing.
Cthulhu type avatar.
Kirill's not allowed to have coffee himself.
Yeah.
Because the last time he did, he actually went and got himself locked up in prison
Yeah.
and spent the entire time writing alchemical formula on the walls. They're still trying to work out what it does.
What it does. Yeah.
That
We're
was-
not allowed to let the axe speak come next to mine.
That was 4 game years ago.
That's funny.
Is it the axe speak goes into a psychosis?
If it doesn't sleep for a week, it starts to get a bit psychotic.
Yeah.
That would be anybody does that.
Well, the Axbeak has a reputation of bringing back the left leg of someone,
Yeah, always left.
and when they find the body is basically in the middle of going to the bathroom,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
and it only gets people in that position because it's been taught to ambush predator,
Yeah.
and that's the weakest humanoids are.
Yep.
That's really funny.
That's your weakest habit.
And the rest of the party is going, I don't want to go by myself anymore.
So is Calcrix one of the dragons, I'm
Yes.
guessing? Yep.
The one in
So-
charge.
Oh,
This
really?
This is where
She's
they
done
build.
good.
This is where every time you camp, you build a concrete bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
You
dome.
want like a tower thing that you just put
Yeah,
out.
It's really funny.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
it knows how to use handles.
Brick outhouse.
Yeah, that's why you build a door that high you can't get in.
Mm.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
It's shown up in really odd places. They
Oh,
looked
yeah.
up and going, how to get in here.
Yeah. I feel sorry for Zal. She spends
Oh,
more time chasing that axe beak than she does most other things.
an axe beak with dimension door.
Oh god.
Well, one of us been teaching at Magic Rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's just.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Although that character's moved on, but
We'll
that
try
doesn't
not to-
mean that the axe beak doesn't remember the runes.
Yes.
Do you need snack or anything?
I'm okay at the moment.
Okay, cool. So Calcrix turns up and she's heading up the dragon.
Yep,
Pickles?
the other dragon
Right.
said you can speak for them.
Okay, all right. Is that
Oh.
because she just talks a lot and does coffee?
Well, you've got the coffee. They don't want to interrupt the coffee making.
No. Okay, fair enough.
and the coffee enjoying and the coffee savouring,
Yeah,
Of
and
course.
then the danishes and cookies that go with the coffee.
Yes.
which explains the large pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Does she do anything else, or she's just there in general?
She's there.
Okay, awesome. That's cool.
And you find you've got a squad of 20 young dragons.
Yeah. Well, as I said, taking them into account in the plans.
I think I'm like 9 years old now, maybe 10. So you're looking about that age, young
Not-
dragons.
Your scouts.
We could do
you're-
some damage.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
very tough scouts, and you're
Yeah.
going to be doing recon by fire,
And lightning.
literally, and yeah.
Yeah. My personal is lightning.
Yeah. Go over and set light to that copse of trees, and so many people come out of it.
You know,
Yeah.
someone just has to go, I really don't like coffee, and then suddenly they're like one of those cartoons where they're all like Ash with one wisp of hair left, and this lightning bolt has just, turned everything black around them.
Warcraft hates it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
that's all you have to tell Calcrix, it'll become her personal vendetta. She will say hi to Duke, and she knows Drazzle as well, so yeah. And I'm guessing that Thala's not there, she's still with her people. Yep, cool.
So yes, we have a big pile of people here, all trying to find housing and get the city secured.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of Dragonborn has started tearing down buildings to make barricades.
Is this a good idea?
They didn't ask.
Okay, take into account this is a win or die.
Okay,
Fight.
yeah, fair enough. I just
We can rebuild
perhaps
afterwards.
not what's around
No.
the Tree of Life though, maybe.
Well, that one we could fill that stairway in. That
Yeah.
would save us a lot of trouble.
So that
yeah.
they look like
But-
they're going to make various rings around the city.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Which is fine. Yeah, if people want to rebuild the city, cool, we'll do it afterwards. We've got to make sure there's an afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to
You
make
know.
it after.
That's right. That's
My
the
main
consideration.
concern was if
Nothing
there was
else matters.
anything magical that
Yeah.
they might need to take into account, but they're Dragonborn, so I presume they're up to dealing with that.
Yeah. Plus, some of them are
We're
probably
running out of
significant-
coffee finally.
Some of them are probably significant numbers of levels.
Almost no coffee left.
Coffee was good.
Yes.
I have made it in those beer steins, which are like twice as big, the Batman and the Superman ones.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Emmy had like 8 shots in that. I'm pretty sure she didn't sleep for the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, this I normally put 4 shots in.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's like it's 3 coffee mugs
Yeah.
worth of coffee.
All right.
So yes,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
you
you
now,
off.
No, that's fine.
You now have the strength of your forces, the strength of the opposition.
Yep.
You've got Dragonborn who are being constructive because, well,
That's what they do.
They are
Yep.
trained military people,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at. They probably
If-
could leave dwarves behind if they tried.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they can do things without tools that dwarves need tools for. I will get some of our war leaders to work with the Dragonborn because they may have better or more useful ideas. So
Tactics is always good to discuss and get sorted.
Just
Yeah,
make sure
well,
they're
this is the thing.
defending the correct positions, allowing
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
avenues of.
this is the thing. Dragonborn may be really good at this. This doesn't mean they're the best at it.
Yeah.
And particularly, it doesn't mean they're the best at it in this situation.
It never hurts.
So at least one of these war leaders has fought in this situation before or something similar. So, and that's between them.
I'm pretty sure
One of the
that-
war leaders actually fought this situation previously.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Is that someone specific?
The one from the clan that got wiped out
Yeah.
actually
Right.
got wiped out fighting this situation.
Okay, so
Right.
perhaps maybe not him. No, I'm kidding.
Well, when he fought, it
Hindsight.
was a completely different army.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hindsight
But-
2020.
Yeah, but same sort of situation, which is so this is the thing. It's okay. It has to be a PC making the roll. I understand that. So as I said before, me make history roll to determine the best way to do things, modified by bonuses from them. Given most of the forces involved are Fey, do I still get the advantage
Yes.
for the court to call?
Because basically you've got to account for centaurs, pixies,
Yep.
rocks,
Who
griffins,
are all Fey
and also
as
the
well.
elves and the dragonborn. So each of them have their heritage associated with it
Yeah.
and need
So-
to be able to work together.
Yes. So yeah, pretty well everyone's Fey, and the ones that aren't, there's not enough to worry about. And in fact, considering you guys are my clan, you you
Yeah.
may count as Fey for this purpose. You're Fey anyway. You're a gnome.
Yeah. We always knew I was cool.
Yes, but for the moment,
Yeah,
you're a
that's
Mackay Fey human.
Yeah.
Yay! It's called I'm Magical, baby.
Yes.
Yay.
And it does technically
I love
mean
that.
that the elven city wouldn't react to her as an intruder either.
Yay!
Yes.
It's
But
not
haven't
gonna
we
be
been elevated to the
scary.
status of elves anyway?
That's what
Well,
I said.
that's exactly why I'm
That's
saying
why
this.
it works. It's
Yeah.
because
We
by
ha-
being named part of his clan, you actually are treated as if you're an elf
Elf.
Yes,
Yep.
we've been accepted
by the magic.
as a group. We've been accepted as elves by
Elves.
the elves of the city. So the city's gone. Yeah, okay, cool.
Which is why it's not very often done.
Yeah, yes, because it's bloody dangerous.
Lonnie, the human fae. You
No,
tied
no.
Lani, the exalted provisioner of pixies and undying warrior.
Which
I was trying to stay humble.
does mean for magical items, you are considered an elf now,
Yes.
as well as human.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
This works.
Yeah.
No one is
Well,
upset by
and
this.
for the length of this, if it
Oh no, that
If it
that's
maintains.
permanently.
oh no, true, because
Unless
we're
you-
still part of the clan.
Unless you find a way to sever her from the clan.
I would have to expel you from my clan,
Alright, well, I will try not
which
to.
is a bit unlikely.
Not very hard to do.
Try not to
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it
don't
would
think you will.
take an actual ritual. I
Yes.
think, at this point. Yeah, I would have to defay you.
I would think that on a D6, considering there won't be a 9, you don't need the line underneath it.
Well, it's because it's standard, and they try to make it so people understand it.
Well, they're also, yeah, they're printed by computer as well. But the other
But-
thing is,
yeah.
you can't get someone go, this is actually a 9 and hide the fact it's a D6.
Yeah, I think if
Um,
you what's the next one up? A D10. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'd
D8,
say it's
D8.
pretty obvious. Anyway.
D8.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, I know,
So-
but if
Yeah,
you're
you
holding
get
it like this,
Yeah.
look, I actually got a 9.
I think the GM,
The GM would
deserves it if he doesn't
I-
notice.
Well, yeah, it depends how you're rolling too, because at one point in Dragon Quest, which is D100, I spent an hour and a half rolling a D4 in a system where you want to roll low.
Do you see any
Um,
D12s here?
Uh,
That would be a no.
yeah.
Because Ariadna rolls D12s instead of D20s. So the
So you're
only
not
dice
going
that are
to.
out are the D12s and the D4s
Yeah,
and the
well,
D6s.
Yeah, mine stays in its thing.
Okay, so yes,
But- So,
Oh look, most of these guys end up in dice jar
Yeah.
during combat.
no, fair
So
enough.
so you were going to make a check to see if
I
you
was
can
gonna-
advise people.
Yeah.
History check.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's looking at historical knowledge.
Yep.
That's annoying. Okay. It's only 17
Oh,
before bonuses.
can come on the battlefield.
Okay, with a 17,
bit ordinary.
you think you can come up with quite a few different strategies that would definitely cause problems. The biggest strategy with the forces you have is the fighting withdrawal. Is never to actually take the force on.
Yep. That's sort of what I was thinking.
Until they go into defences that you
Yeah.
can just destroy them with.
Yep.
Walk them into every trap along the way.
Yep. And be deceptive because they're going to expect this. So give them. It's going to involve extra work, but what the Dragonborn are doing are going to make this possible. And having things like the dragons is going to make it easier to do. Is give them a defence that they can see, that we might want to draw them towards, that they can avoid, so we can then draw them into the actual trap.
Well, you have
So we're going to give deceptive traps.
Folding and unfolding tower that you could attack this spot and then the folder disappears and you fly off.
Oh, that is a very good point. Yes. By the way, gentlemen, here is something we can use as part of our tactics.
There you go.
So when we need something to say a quick defence, we've got one. Several people are probably going to go, I like it.
Yes. I think that's
Very, very.
Well, looking at it, it's now got a different symbol on there.
it's got a different what?
Sandals?
No, it's yours.
Oh.
It's not even like it's not even like
It's not my clan one.
It's your personal symbol. You are now a clan.
You
The Elves made you a clan.
You are
we are
the clan.
the clan.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep.
So it's not even the clan Leiden, which is my family, it's the clan Chlor,
Yep.
which people are going to hate because a lot of people can't pronounce it.
That's the fun of things, isn't it?
You
It
are
is
the
the
first
fun
member of that clan.
To be
and it's now
honest,
an official clan.
If I'm
Yes.
trying to annoy a bureaucrat and they
That's
ask
what
me my
that
name,
magic
I say
did.
Ariadna. So,
Okay.
it works.
So it wasn't a small thing when they made you an actual
No, sorry, Gamma. Yeah.
member of their society.
Yeah, we should probably write down that there's now...
So Chlor Dama of Clan Chlor of Clan Theodore.
Previously of those clans.
Yeah,
But you-
previously, yes. Oh, God. Alright.
You now have two clans you're previously of.
Yes.
And the sword still works, even though you're no longer part of that clan officially.
Because...
Poor Drachnama. He's missing out on so much.
Yeah. Well, because I'm the champion of the Shadow Elves, my clan is immaterial at that point.
You've probably added a clan that's a crossover clan now.
Yes.
That could be a spin-off series.
So it's both a Shadow Elf clan and a Child of Elsendol clan.
I managed to come out without my glasses on.
How confusing and interesting at the same time.
So best of both worlds. He gets let into all the doors, which means he gets all the responsibilities and none of the fun.
Yep.
All the fun of being a noble who's also a diplomat. I'm fully expecting this shit.
So yes,
Noblesse oblige. I am a noble. It's not just about being rich and being able to boss servants around. You've got a job to do.
and the interesting thing of it is the symbol shows that you're the clan head on the symbology.
Of course, because I am
each-
the head of
yeah.
Clan Chlor.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah,
So you
The clan
But the-
plural of the clan
So you-
Cluel, I can't pronounce that
I'm
properly.
I'm Chlor.
But
I'm-
McLeod, the clan McLeod.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm not just Chlor. I'm the Chlor.
One day I'll say that right.
But the thing is, you guys officially now have Chlor as part of your
Title.
name.
Yeah. So I'm.
So you're Lani, your full name, of Clan Chlor.
Yes. Yes.
Are you going to be okay with that?
I have more titles to give myself in
Yes.
this one, not self-imposed. Actual title.
That's
I
right.
like
But the
this.
Pixies gave you the Pixie provisional
Oh, that's true.
title,
The
so
Pixies
not
did
all
give
your
me
titles
that
are.
title.
Yes, but if you do that,
Self-
Pixies are going to keep coming up with new ones. So you're going to have a book of the freaking things and
Yeah,
all of them
yeah.
Pixie.
This will
I
make you
want
happy.
This.
Cool.
I was going to say
Actually,
this.
no, that's the thing. If you write them down
Yeah.
and you tell the Pixies what you're doing, you're going to get 150 ideas in 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
So
I should probably actually write this down.
that'll
somewhere on a
that'll,
sheet.
that'll keep them occupied.
That'd be funny.
And yeah, so now you,
Because there
now
has
you
to be a
can think
game
up
where you
ways
just
that
go
you can
through all of
have
the titles.
flying elves, griffins,
Rocks.
pixies, rocks, and all that interacting. You do
Yeah.
realise that the rocks aren't really a great strategy because they are big targets. They can be taken down by the
Yep.
wyverns.
However, if the wyverns are being kept busy by being beaten up on by griffins and flying elves,
Then they could pretty much rip an army apart.
and the rocks then use rocks on things like giants and baskets of rocks on other armies. A ton of rocks being dropped out of a basket from
Right.
each of a dozen rocks onto an army of orcs is going to make a hell of a lot less orcs. And if they can fly high enough that no arrow can hit them, and no combat spell can hit them. But what's the maximum range of a spell if you boost it with a
Some
sorcerer or
spells
whatever?
can go line of sight.
Yeah, true. But
Well,
very few,
not
and
many.
you're not going to have.
So
you're
you
not going to
tell
have
them
many
to
people.
always put a wyvern between them and the ground.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, there's not going to be a lot of people in an army that are capable of casting such spells, and particularly not very few people who can do it more than once.
There's
And
one
those
main
who can will be
spellcaster
dealing
on the
with
other side that you know of.
Well,
Besides any priests, because there would be priests because they've got the standards.
yeah, but but priests aren't good at combat spells.
Alrighty.
So yes, you've now got a lot of plans going ahead.
In fact, a couple of half-ton rocks dropped on any standard would be a good start to any battle.
Stop
from-
here.
Yeah, from 250 feet up, I'm out of bow range.
Some bows can get 600 to 700 feet.
Yeah, you got to do less damage at that range, though, and harder to hit.
Okay, so yes, the
And if we've got healing clerics on a griffin that's accompanying the rocks, it's going to make a big difference.
well,
Alright. We're going to war.
you're going to war.
Yep.
You have amongst the people you have probably at least a division of druids who have been spending the time talking to the trees and plants of the city to get them into the fight.
Yep.
And you sort of notice bushes get up and start walking around.
Yep.
Okay.
Druids can do that.
Yep.
And
They've got spells that allow plants to do impressions of a tree.
And you see trees start springing up in defensive positions that are just perfect cover for archers over the walls that the Dragonborn are making.
Nice.
In fact, I can see people getting into position and they're sort of ready to go, and a bush sort of leans over a little bit to make itself better cover.
Well, it's sort of got branch out and then branch out, so they can just kneel behind the cover of a branch.
Mm-hmm.
And actually have it be actual cover because there's multiple branches in a sort of barrier.
Trees are on our side.
Trees are on our side.
We've got all the magical animals we can.
That big tree.
Falcrix is here, so we're going to win.
I wonder if we could persuade that big tree into joining.
They did have that discussion last session where they found out that the mind of the treant was
It's gone. Yes,
Yeah.
it's used for something else. So yeah, it's functionally useless for our purposes.
Okay. Gotcha.
it basically doesn't have enough awareness to be able to do anything.
That's alright.
Except one dog.
I'm going to make a mental note to see whether or not there's anything we can do for that ent later.
Well, if you do, then the Tree of Life dies.
No, but I mean, you could help the ent a little, maybe.
We could.
It living is part of the Tree of Life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
quality of life is always something you can look at.
Well, it's quality.
You
of
might
life.
have nothing you can do, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
Check
its quality of life is the fact that it's in the Tree of Life. The fact that its original body is still walking around is functionally material. Yeah. As a side
Won't
thing,
hurt to check in.
no, as a side thing, I had a very scary NPC in my D&D game a while ago, a druid treant.
Mm-hmm. They can be quite scary.
Yeah.
Okay, and
yeah.
there are some instructions given to Nia about how to administer the.
You keep shortening the name.
Yeah.
It was Neri or
I
something.
can't
Now it's
pronounce
Neri.
Neri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at pronouncing names. You know
I'm
that.
just waiting for when it comes to N. There's nothing else to it.
No,
The Knight of Ni.
yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry, I'm being amused. I don't mean to.
So,
Well, you're not the only GM who does this. The GM of my Buffy game took more than 10 years to learn how to say the name of my character.
But what I'm saying.
At least it's
Now-
not as bad as Jeremy, where I took
Yeah.
10 years to mispronounce his character's name.
And then he lost.
Yeah,
And then he
and he
lost
lost it. Yeah,
So,
but yeah,
Neri is given instructions on how to administer the liquids that you recovered, the potions of
light.
light
Yep.
Yes.
to help the tree recover.
Yeah.
But it's a case of it has to be done slowly, gradually, over
Incrementally.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So it's going to be happening over the battle.
death sets it back.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it is literally a source of life
Right.
that death actually destroys.
So,
So every death on either side is going to set back what we're doing.
yeah.
Which means that if you don't continually restore it with the potions,
Yeah,
the
so
battle itself
that's
is enough to
Neri's
kill it.
job
Yeah.
is to keep restoring that
Okay.
so that it stays
Okay.
alive.
Yeah.
So
So be like a nurse to the tree near the side.
Yes.
yes.
and as long as it's still getting the nourishment from the elixirs, then it won't die.
Yeah.
It's basically it's getting its own life force back.
So it's pretty essential.
Whereas it's
Just-
basically at death's door at the moment
Yeah.
because of so much that has happened.
Yep.
Yes. Because Moorcroft is an ass.
It also means we want to try and get more croft before we have to kill too many, even if they're bad guys.
Yeah.
You want to run them off rather than annihilate them.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is, if we allow any to run off, we have to make sure they don't double around.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's-
I'm not saying it's
that's
not
what
without
air-
complications.
Yeah, that's what air cover's all for.
It's.
But-
yeah.
And clearing up is easier than stopping.
Yeah. But and this is the thing: the war leaders we have, the technical minds we have, they'll have all this covered.
So
It won't be a problem.
Duke needs to set his bombs to stun.
As much as possible.
Mm.
However,
You'd be surprised how much
Yeah.
a bad smell can stop somebody, especially when their eyes
especially
are.
spellcasters.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
elf special and pixies specialize in sleep
Yep.
magic
Yes.
because elves are not affected by sleep magic.
Yep. Whereas
And if we aim at
Duke can
if
make
we
a
aim,
lot of sleep
Yeah.
bombs.
and if we aim at the clerics, and it's a particularly if they're fortitude saves rather than will saves.
Yep. All
Depending on
right.
which
So we've got a
poison they
plan in terms of knocking people unconscious.
Okay, and the Dragonborn give Cruel a quiver of arrows,
Okay.
saying each arrow will remove its target.
Remove its
Oh.
target.
Or kill them, or remove them.
So it might remove them back
Okay.
to the time they came from, or
No, it removes
No.
them.
just removes entirely?
Think of what happens when people get into Drazzle's cart.
They get to ride a not horse?
No. Anyone who goes into Drazzle's cart disappears into the time stream somewhere.
Okay, alright, yep. Well, that's what I'm asking. Do they disappear in the time stream, or do they cease to exist?
I'm not sure they don't.
They sort of think, he thinks for a moment and goes, yes.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Will either of those hurt the tree?
No death.
Okay, awesome. That's the bit I care about.
That's the important thing.
Yep.
All right, so Lani's almost definitely our best archer.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get to have arrows.
I am the weapons
You get-
master.
Yes. So here's some sniping practice.
Sweet.
You've got 20 arrows that don't seem to have a head on them.
They don't need them.
Alright.
Think
Took
of
her a
this,
moment, but she can work with that.
He sort of, it shimmers on the end.
yeah.
Sort of like Drazzle's cart shimmered.
Don't touch them. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. the little bits of horse's hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Sort of like a dismissal spell, but without an expiry.
You think it's
Hang
more
on.
of an erasure spell?
Right. It basically has the same effect. They're gone. They're not coming back.
So
Yes.
let's Drazzle go from the Dragonborn.
Yes. On that, just while they're doing it, I've mentioned this before, but I gave one of my PCs has a Warhammer called Next Week.
Because it hits him into next week.
It has a dismissal effect on it. You hit them, and if they fail the save, a dismissal happens.
So those arrows could probably be used on like generals and things like that.
Oh yeah,
Armies don't operate so well without their leaders.
Yeah,
And that's where 20 would be.
and
better
things
used.
like people in heavy armor and clerics don't have good dex rolls
This sounds good.
because this thing is on contact, which means their armor class doesn't matter. It's only their dex for defense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got that.
So yeah, if you see someone in full plate
That would be
with shiny bits on it,
a good.
or is in scale or in heavy
Anybody
armor,
who's sitting behind their men and not getting into the action
Yeah.
while their men are dying,
they're the one.
that's the cowards you want to take out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And take yourself a couple of griffins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fly with the griffins.
A couple of griffins, probably one or two of the flying elves
Yeah.
as a basically aerial sniper unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we're good.
You've got a squad of heavily armoured Dragonborn.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of look like moving tanks.
I'm not surprised.
I would think. Yeah.
Oh, you gods.
Just point and aim.
Oh no, actually, plate armor, but plate armor made using dragon scale, using shed scales from their patron dragons. That would look cool.
They basically refer to themselves as the shock troopers.
I can see at least some of them having lightning breath, yeah.
As in, they literally fly into the opponent.
Oh, winged ones. Oh, God. Winged dragonborn tanks.
Cool.
Meteor strikes.
So our Dragonborn have got wings now?
Some do.
Oh,
not
some
all of them
do. Some do. Drazzle has done on at least a couple of occasions.
Okay, so they're magic wings, I'm guessing.
No,
As
they're
they
actual
age,
dragon wings.
some can get them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
It's just-
they have evolutions as
Yeah.
they age.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just we keep seeing Drazzle at different points during his lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Flying charges with spear and shield.
So, we're
Or
doing all these
two-handed
preparations for combat.
Yep.
Have we got a time frame for
As
attack/defense?
soon as we can.
You've,
basically.
with your scout, he says that without any actual combat, each of the armies to the north and south will reach the city in a week.
Right.
So unless
So-
you do something, they will
We-
besiege with more than you have in the city.
So yeah.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
you want to strike soon because that'll catch them not being prepared.
Yeah.
Would that be
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Yeah. Also note things like attacking the orcs. Do it in midday.
Okay.
And particularly, if we're attacking orcs using the rocks, fly out of the sun.
Yeah. Yep. That'd probably be a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
having these strategies in place, are we heading out to battle?
Okay. Are you all going to head out to the one group?
I'd say we'd spread ourselves out a bit. Like, we
Okay.
discussed that Lani would probably
Yeah.
snipe with griffins and
Yeah.
flying elves.
At least until
ghouls.
you run out of the arrows, at which point rejoin us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because 20 arrows aren't going to last very long.
No, but I'm definitely going to be.
Well, you could
The-
also have normal
I
arrows.
bring
Oh,
the
yeah.
arrows as well.
The other thing is they're a week out. It's going to take you time to travel between them
Yeah.
to pick out, to get there, do some scouting, pick out who you want to shoot,
Yep.
fly in and shoot.
And you can also wait until you're in a combat and see who's causing the most damage on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so you can hold that till later too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah.
I'm not gonna go in and shoot. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like use it.
I'm guessing in terms of strategy, we want to strike it earlier than they strike, because if they strike
Oh,
when
yeah.
they want to, they'll have been better prepared.
Well, the thing is that, the other thing is if they strike where they want to, they'll have joined up.
Yeah.
And they'll have two big armies
Yeah.
to fight instead of 8 small ones.
Yeah. Okay. So we want to head
we wanna-
towards.
Yeah. Basically, we want to
enemy?
get the first actual attack happening within a day or so.
Yeah. So we need to head that way.
Yeah.
I guess we're compiling and moving into
So are you
position.
going to head north or south as your first one?
Are we going as a combined army, or are we able to?
In terms of
Uh,
scouting reports, was there any particular group north or south, or are there?
I'd probably say
armies
that
mixed?
Dracomir would have singled out the Atzantiotl as the biggest threat
Yeah.
because of the fact that he's been known to wipe out civilizations.
Yeah.
So maybe we want to head towards them.
Yeah.
Whereas
He's the corruptor and the destroyer.
most of you have also fought the forces of Thanatos,
Yes.
who is basically
The
ender of all
anti-magic.
things.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we want to head as a single group towards the.
Well,
start?
the whole point of the bad guys is each one of them is an existential threat.
Yes.
And at the moment, each one is an existential threat.
All right. So I
So-
guess we're heading as a single group.
I
You
was
probably
thinking of
have mixed numbers of
yeah,
people.
Yep. Okay.
I was thinking of the best way to use this as a party.
Yeah.
As part of a military unit,
Mm.
probably not that useful
No.
necessarily, but as a spoiler group to basically mess up the opponents while
Yeah.
the fight's on.
Yeah.
Just get around the back and start getting into their offices.
So
sort of thing.
you're saying we should send the army on under the leadership of the generals,
Yep.
having discussed strategies and things like that, and then us as a party kind of stick together and then
Yep.
strike where needed.
Yeah.
I think
And-
that would be our answer.
And
Yeah.
you've got like big groups of elves heading into the forest to turn the forest into a
Death trap.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, capture
Okay.
trap rather than death trap.
Yep.
As much as possible.
Yep.
Because, they
Um,
know about deaths and what it's going to do
and-
to the tree.
Obviously, Neri will stay behind to take
Yeah.
care of the Tree of Life because that is obviously the most important job right now.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
need someone with you, Neri, to help?
I don't know.
Is it a two-person thing?
Maybe it would be useful.
It would be useful to have all the help she
Yeah.
can have because if she gets distracted or falls asleep or something like
Yeah.
that, other people can.
Yeah. And
The
also to protect my back to make
Yeah.
sure that no one interferes.
that's right. The Elsendal elves not all of them are going to be combatants.
No.
Yeah.
We can use some of them.
Okay,
so
so-
they'll have a purpose that doesn't involve going out and stabbing werewolves.
And from Duke's position, he'd be preparing sleeping bombs. As many as he can with whoever's spare to help.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that can be done sort of along the way, though.
And also preparing batches of the equivalent of sleeping toxins
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, so they can just dip all the arrows
Yep.
in them and things.
Yeah,
Yes.
that kind of thing. So that'll be kind of what I'm concentrating on. And then we've got Cluel and Lani to kind of do the snipering and the specific attacks. So I guess that's how we're split.
Yeah.
So Lani also gets a quiver of sleep arrows.
So you've got 40 now? Oh, there you go. You've got 40.
40 cool arrows and the good ones you've
Then
already
you got your normal cool arrows.
Yes. And I can quite happily use like at least 3 of my skills at full bore in this. History, insight, deception, perception,
Alright, so
and persuasion to keep everybody together. So I'm actually using all of that stuff. All my core skills and all of them are trained.
As you're keeping the heart of the army alive,
Yes.
you head north to see what's happening that way.
yeah,
Because that's where Dracnomir thinks is the most important
Yeah.
Yep.
target to worry about.
he's the one you want to listen to. I've just got a bathroom, sorry.
Yeah.
I won't be long.
Well, other people have misjudged Xantiotl in the past, and
We know enough about him not to do that.
even people who say that have still misjudged him.
Yeah.
He's been known to pull success out of defeat.
Oh yeah. Well, this is the thing. Anytime you've got someone who is ridiculously intelligent, then yeah, they're going to keep doing shit like that. The only way to counter it is have someone as intelligent or as close to it as possible. I'm not going to try and say I'm that intelligent.
Okay, as you get close to the
Right.
edge of the
I
forest,
can try.
you hear the sounds of industry, as if people are cutting down trees and
Mm-hmm.
basically forging and making tools.
Yep.
It seems that instead of marching directly in, most of them are building equipment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they're doing both siege towers and siege weaponry.
And looking out from trees that give you a view, it does look as if they're making mobile encampments. Definitely not a design you'll see.
No,
Nothing they're doing here looks.
they're they're using technology of some kind. It's almost definitely, which means they're going to be doing something with those that we don't know. Alright, let's find someone with augury, or not augury, the next step up from that. Some diviner, find a diviner, and work out what they're actually up to.
Okay.
Or someone who can read minds or something at range.
From what you can tell, each encampment is shielded from scrying.
Right.
But these scouts seem to be just getting pieces, not knowing what they're getting it for.
Right.
They're basically gathering.
Right. If a diviner sees this, can they make a divination determination on what it is from what they've seen, rather than actually casting a divination on the item itself?
They can ask a god what it is, but no
Well,
guarantee the god will answer.
Yeah, there is that.
As most of the gods have been forbidden to answer certain questions.
Yeah, because it's direct involvement at this point too. Plus, if it's involved, actually, if they refuse to answer, there's a good chance it is in fact tech. We just don't know anything about what it is.
Or it's basically God versus God, which they're not allowed to do.
Yeah, which at this point we can assume is probably the case.
Because the War of the Gods is last thing anyone wants.
Yeah. Yes. Because that sort of thing, gods lose a lot of worshippers that way.
And gods disappear that way.
Yes.
And maybe once mortal, but they still rely on followers.
Yep, exactly.
Though Lani does recognize designs from the Arendi fleets.
Okay.
There's a lot of gnomish ingenuity wrapped into their designs.
Actually, Duke and Cover would probably be the best person to look at this and work out what they're doing. So, when the player gets back, thinking about a way to deal with this, destroying what they're building isn't going to be useful because they'll just do it again.
It looks as if it's designed to counter high impact drops like you did on the first encampment. It's almost a counter completely to that first encampment.
Yeah.
Attack you did.
Actually, have you read the Nobles book of one of the D&D 3 novel trilogies?
Not that I can remember, but
Okay.
probably at some point.
Written by Paul Kidd.
I may have.
Now
I've
Paul
just
Kidd.
read several.
Okay, yeah. They had they built a bunch of things in that based on, and he was doing this as deliberate references, of course, based on Leonardo da Vinci's design of a tank. What they made it of, though, was cemented nutshells, which are ridiculously strong, stronger than wood, and have no grain because it was made of basically ground shells. Now think of how tough a walnut shell is. Now do that, this thick, and cement it together in a single piece
Yeah, that's pretty
as a dome
Yeah.
with wheels under it.
I'm trying to think of how we can use that now against them, sort of thing.
Trenches.
Well, you think the giants provide the propulsion?
So that they're that big. Okay. Okay.
60 giants.
Any trench capable of dealing with that and stopping a couple of giants from carrying it over the trench, it's going to be big enough. It's hard to hide.
And it
Can be done.
It does mean that the only avenues they could attack you with these things are down the roadways.
Yes.
Every
because
other place has ravines.
Yeah, every other place has ravines. Plus, they would have to cut down every tree in the way as well.
Yeah.
So roads are the only thing, which means not attacking them here. We don't want them to know that we know that they've got them, but doing something horrible to a road and then putting illusionary terrain on it, and then putting a spell over the illusionary terrain so that if anyone dispels it, they dispel what's over the spell, not the illusionary terrain itself, so that this terrain remains.
How can we do landmines? Explosion underneath.
Triggered delayed blast fireballs. I don't know if they're still in the game.
I think they are, but
They're high level though. They're too
at level spells they were last.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
so yes,
They are ridiculously chunky, or 7, whatever it is. It's too high for us. But we could have something like someone goes into the trench through the illusionary terrain, which then ignites.
Yes.
At which point you've got yes.
Don't care how it's been used.
Burn it well.
That's all. Yes, that's all she needed to hear. Fire. Yep.
Burning trench.
Yes.
Pretty much on like a legalized form of an arsonist, really.
Yes. Yep. And if we have because these things are big and heavy, we could have the oil and the alchemist's fire igniter in barrels so they can't smell it before they get to it. Because the thing will go in, crush the barrels, crush the alchemist's fire ignites the flames. And then you've got a giant in a tank that's now inside an oven.
Well, I
So-
like them roasted well, and I'm pretty good with glazes.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you could
And
just have pits that ignite. So if they're over the top of the pit
Oh,
and the
yeah.
pit ignites,
That
it
too.
pretty much cooks the inside
That's
of
a
it.
simplified version of it. Yes.
Well, pits are going to be a lot quicker to do than a trench too.
Yes.
And it doesn't require you to position them. You could just have a whole bunch of pits.
Yeah. Yes. The thing with the trench though is it sticks them in place, which means anyone behind them is now stuck as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least with pits, there's chances of them tripping over each other.
Yeah.
Alright.
The other thing, of course, is what this means is, okay, they're protecting themselves against rocks carrying rocks. But it's not going to protect them against rocks carrying, say, a basket of barrels of oil.
But they've
Yeah.
geared themselves up based on your last.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So we take advantage of that and use that on them, basically.
yes.
Yeah. So, in a lot of respects, I think what's happening is we're coming up with ideas, and then the journals actually do them.
Okay,
And
so
make
I
a
will
job of it.
give our gnome an engineering roll
Woo-hoo.
because it actually has engineering as a skill.
Oh, crap, I didn't grab a drink. So D20?
D20.
Yes.
19
on the die.
plus...
Plus lots.
I'm hoping this one's the latest one.
It should be +6 or +8. So
I think it's
yeah.
engineering. That comes under schools? Oh,
Yeah.
+8.
+8.
Yeah.
So 27.
27. Okay. You tell Duke what's happening, and then he runs through multiple different scenarios of how gnomes would use that,
Mm-hmm.
and you realise that it is a modular shield
Okay.
Ooh.
designed to contract or lengthen.
Oh, wow.
or,
That's pretty cool. So it
move
expands and shrinks?
as they need to, because it's basically using strong people to hold it in place.
Yep.
You can then change its position and
Yeah.
move it.
Right,
Yeah.
which means they can narrow it down for a road
Mm.
to get it into place, and then bring it out into a
Yeah.
much larger device
Yep.
Yeah.
on the spot. We can take advantage of that as well.
Mm.
So we could, because if it's got bits that are moving, it means there are joints, which means we can get stuff in them.
And it is
there's-
vulnerable in lots of places,
Yes.
but they could just have someone else come along and pick it up.
Oh yeah.
So it's more
So
the
we've got to make sure that
flexibility
that's hard.
of it's designed for flexibility of movement and adaptability,
Yeah.
not for 100% protection
Yeah.
or survivability.
Yeah. It's like carrying a shield against a dragon. It's better than not having it. It's a very useful thing to do.
It's basically surrounding a group with a tower shield.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is one of the reasons I like the idea of the trench, because it locks them in place. But even with the modularity,
They can use it as a floor.
yeah,
So would
there's
that-
too.
would that role include picking out weaknesses?
Yeah.
The biggest weakness it has is that it is either made out of metal or wood.
Mhm.
If it's made out of metal, then lightning pretty much gives them a really bad day.
Yeah.
If it's
So
made
send
out,
word to Calvrix.
if it's made out of wood, then fire really gives them a bad day.
Send word to Mr. Eldridge Blast.
And if
I'm not so much fire, but yeah.
if they made it out of green wood, then druids really give them a bad day.
Okay. Do we know
So-
what it's made out of?
It's most likely made out of a combination. So,
Right.
Okay, alright.
So
they would have limited metals.
yeah,
They would have limited dried wood, and
Yeah.
a chunk of it would be green wood.
yeah,
So druids would probably be our safest bet. I would
yeah,
pass
because
that
they can
information
handle
on.
things with wood, whether it's green or
Yeah.
not.
And metal.
If they've got because they've got heat metal.
Yep, so we could
So
we will pass that on to the
yeah.
druids and see if they can
So
help.
yeah, if they've got metal, it's almost definitely going to be metal sheeting over wood.
Mm.
So
And
yeah.
they could even turn these shields into a weapon to
Yep.
attack the people holding.
Yes.
Yeah, well that's
Oh, yeah.
what I'm hoping the druids will
Well,
do.
think
Well, you
think
can-
about that with
Cage it down.
well, think
So
about
like
this
it's
with
this.
think about this with spike growth on the inside of those shells.
Yeah.
Or they could wrap them up in themselves.
Well,
and
spike growth
give
and
them a
then
good
wrap them up.
squish. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would work.
So, looks like Duke had quite a lot of cool things to say about that stuff.
Mm.
Yep. We're in battle now, I gather.
We're still doing recce.
Oh, okay. So this is
So this is planning for battle.
Recognizance.
Reconnaissance.
You want to plan for battle because you're unlikely fight in the same unit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So,
of speed, you wouldn't want to hold anyone up.
yeah, no, that's fine. My brain just didn't know what happened.
Yeah. But
And by being leadering people who are inspirational,
Yes.
you do not want to be in the front ranks.
Gnomes
'Cause
generally don't want to be in the front ranks
If
anyway.
fell, then a lot of people would be disheartened because he's provided the heart of the
Yeah.
yes.
battle.
Yep, they would
Yes. Which is
Lose
why
their faith.
I have a shield and I'm going to be defensive and I'm not silly.
And you notice that Drazzle seems to follow you around everywhere.
He's gonna give you a lot of hugs.
I really need a hug right now. I'm going to go and ask him for one.
He pats you on the head.
Ouch. Don't worry. Cowquick will hug you.
Hug after, right? Okay.
He's very much the get it done sort of attitude at the moment.
Older Razzle.
You think old cranky Drazzle?
Old cranky Drazzle. Plus, yeah, he's really tired.
Yeah.
He's going to want to sleep before he does anything like hug.
Yeah.
I'll take a pat on the head. That's actually very heartening. That's good.
And you think he likes your strategies?
Thank you.
That's good.
I'm not going to ask him if it works.
He tells you he doesn't know.
Okay.
Travel through time does not give you knowledge of the outcome.
Okay. Fair enough.
The gods do not allow it.
I wouldn't either in their situation.
That's one of the penalties of travelling through time is you don't get to know what happened until after it's happened. And then you remember seeing it happen if you see yourself multiple times, only after it happened. Because
Okay.
you can't actually remember something that hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
Right.
I've experienced that. But yeah.
It's how it really messes with your mind.
That's what's in my mind right now.
It's how Nuri gets to help herself with the tree of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember helping herself from both sides, only after it's happened.
Yes. Yes. So the moment she turns up, she remembers seeing herself.
Yeah.
But only then. Yes.
The whole causality of time travel.
So
It hasn't happened until it's happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I
Time
guess
travel can
I
be
guess
an
it's
art.
happy because she gets to be doing the Tree of Life and then also fighting in the battle. So doing both.
Yeah.
And finding out why she disappeared in the first place.
Yep.
Which no one knew.
Yes.
She just disappeared. Okay, so yes, you get back to
So,
town with lots of plans
Yep.
and send out various groups to cause a lot of shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the druids are heading south to deal with the different forces there because of some of them are known to burn more than they are to cut things down.
Yeah.
The Natos' forces in particular prefer fire.
Yeah. They like flamey
Well,
destruction.
They wanted basically people to assault the earth.
Yeah, they want to burn the world down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including themselves at the same time. They don't care.
Yes.
It's
It's
very
all-
fatalistic.
Yeah, they want to make sure they're last, only to make sure everything is burning.
Yeah.
This seems very
But-
practical, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, these are the people who will set fire to something and then walk into the flames. As long as they've made sure everything is burning first.
Yeah, I kind
Yeah,
of see a
it's
huge problem with that.
yeah.
Come on, I like seeing things burn.
Which is why the druids are heading that way.
yeah.
Because even the death of the forest would be a setback.
Yes, every tree dying, including ones being cut down for this. Yeah, everything's bad.
The pixies are heading north because a lot of them really want to have fun with the deceiver god.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
what's a-
that's what pixies do.
What's a
isn't it?
bigger challenge than taking on the master of deception?
Exactly.
So they're
They'll actually team up for some of it, rather than being chaotic and everyone do their own thing.
I think the chaotic and everyone doing their own thing would pretty much undo someone who's thinking of strategy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that.
So
Yeah.
okay, so they're going to come at to us at 100,000 different ways at once.
They're coming at us in more directions than there are people. I can see two of them coming at me 4 directions simultaneously. Yeah.
Before we actually do any combat-oriented stuff, I thought it might be a good point for us to stop. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeremy can be involved after helping us get there.
Yep. And the next stuff we're going to be doing will take a while anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you decide how you want to progress with that. Because it could be a long war or a short war.
Well, as long as it's victorious for us, I don't really care. Because it's going to be a real downer on the campaign if we fail.
Unless, of course, you can find some way to go back in time and change things.
I presume that if this doesn't work, Drazzle's already going to go back in time and change things, if he hasn't done so already. Which is probably why he looks so tired.
If we find out after this that this is his 8th go at this,
If we can't remember the other 7, but he's still using hindsight to try and make our chances
Well-
better, I don't mind if I can't remember the other 7 times.
It has been known to make paradox loops,
Mm-hmm.
such as when Loel broke the holy symbol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So somebody does have reload points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well,
He did that to Jeremy's Wednesday group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jeremy's had a lot of experience with Drazzle, I would say, considering there's at least 2 games that he's in where Drazzle is present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, it's this game and the Friday game, so...
So we're going to finish up there so you don't get combat just before,
Yeah.
just after 10.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
And
I had no idea what time it was.
Yeah.
It's all good. And so now you know what you're up
Yeah, I
against.
think pretty good.
You have a big pile of people who technically can have any personality or naming that we want because they disappeared from history.
Yep.
I'm also presuming that by organising it in this order, Draknamar / Jeremy gets to participate in the battle next.
And a little bit of
Okay.
the planning as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There is the
he's not
actually.
left out.
Here's an amusing one. The people who have been drawn through time,
Mm.
some of them, the ones who do not have clans, and of course can't go back to their own times unless Drazzle is willing to help.
Mm.
Some of us are going to have to adopt them.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's enough of them now that they have their own clan still.
Yeah.
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 So they have
For some
aligned
of them.
themselves in their
Yeah,
clans.
there's going to be some individuals
Who might want to change clans.
might want to change clans or are members of small clans that don't exist anymore.
And we know
a
Cowpix
lot
will
of
take
families
everyone
stay
in.
out, but the big clans generally don't. So
Yeah.
the fact that you're the newest clan in about 1,000 years, the first official clan in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
This is not a bad thing.
So yes, you could have a bunch of people come under your name.
Yes.
Yeah, you could
Which-
end up having a really old big clan.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Which does actually match because one of the a bit match because one of the things you get as a noble at a certain point is you actually end up with retainers.
Yep. So yes,
And
Yes.
if I end up with heroes from out of
You'd know me for
time,
like
they
9 weeks.
become interesting.
I couldn't afford to
especially
pay it off,
if
so I was going to cancel it.
they,
So he
they
went
have
into
knowledge
cancel
of
it
things
and
that
then gave it to me for my birthday
people have
about a
forgotten.
month after.
Like I said, thank you very much for playing, Clarissa. Sorry you were unwell today and couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We miss having you here in person.
I hope next time.
Yeah, hopefully next time. Hope you feel better soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
And we'll
Thank
see.
you.
Hopefully, see you at the next game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to rest though if you're not
So
feeling
I'll say goodnight here and send it on to end credits.
Yeah.
good. Good nighty.
Good night.
Yeah. It's the background.